Hello everybody and welcome to week 6, day 2 of the LCS. Later today, we have a series between the Scrim champs versus Split 1 champs as T-Law look to take on LYON, but right now we have FlyQuest versus C9. Jad, this is a big one for seeding going into playoffs, and the question in a lot of people's minds, can C9 keep the undefeated streak going into the final week of regular season?
We'll have to see, because FlyQuest has been improving a lot since lock-in when Cloud9 definitely had their number. Yes. FlyQuest is also one of the teams that's playing today that would be in danger of falling out of top 4. If they don't pick up a win, that's the danger. If they do win, then top 4 is locked. That essentially gives you double elimination when you go into playoffs. And if FlyQuest can lock top 4, I feel like even going back to when they put this roster together, that would be an accomplishment for what their goals are.
It was a complete rebuild going into this year. C9, a tiny rebuild. APA coming in the mid lane, yeah. But that one switch aside, they've still looked like they're continuing the momentum. FlyQuest yet to really reach the same heights that they had, but let's catch up what's going on here in draft, because we're already into the thick of things here, Jad. It's Lucian Melio locked in for FlyQuest.
Yeah, and very quick lock-ins, which I love to see when teams are prepared for what their priorities are in draft. So running through it real quick, a couple of jungle bans with the Xin and the Jarvan plus Ambessa, which is a flex pick ban, and then also Orianna ban, which is what we've seen constantly. But Ashe Seraphine is completely open. With the first pick Karma, a lot of times that says Ezreal Karma will be able to outpush Ashe Seraphine, so I don't love picking Ashe Seraphine into it. Immediately, Masu says, actually, we want to play Lucian Melio, and C9 ends up closing out with their bot lane as well.
And once you transition this into the mid lane, I love what Lucian Melio is able to do, rotating around between the two objectives, whether it's Heralds, whether it's Dragons. Such a powerful force around the 2-item spike here. Let's see what C9 wants to pair with that bot lane, though, because this, we expect the push. We've seen what the Ezreal Karma can do, and right now they're going to go for the Vi alongside it, so more of an engage-style jungler.
Yeah. I think that's a little risky going into Melio, who's very good at stopping hard engages, but it will still give them that guaranteed damage onto Lucian. And Masu, he plays so ridiculously aggressive on the pick, so the Vi is there to try and punish him.
Were you a Hitmonlee or a Hitmonchan guy? Because I feel like that's Vi versus Melio. It's like the kick versus the punch, you know?
You tell me.
Well, I can't tell you what your
tell me which one is better.
Oh, I was always a Hitmonchan guy. I liked the punch-in. The boxing gloves just looked cooler for me as a kid, so...
I think we have Jungle Shen again, by the way. Ooh. This is a Griffin special. He specifically loves playing it into Vi. He played this last week and actually had a 2-level advantage on the Vi, even though they ended up losing the game. But all he does is he plays patient, he farms his jungle, and if Vi presses R, Griffin presses R on that same target, and then he feels like he's better. That's
a pretty good flow chart of decision-making right there. Yeah. Very easy to approach that style of game. And we also saw the build. I mean, it was played top lane yesterday. Photon pulled it out and was doing crazy damage early. So I'm not 100% it's going to be jungle. I think that there's still room to flex it. We'll see if they want to do that later on here. It's a Nivea ban and Talia ban now coming in from C9 FlyQuest. So more focus on the mid laners from this point forward as neither team is locked at.
Yeah, absolutely. The Talia ban against APA, I'd say both Quad and APA have really strong Talias now that she's a little bit back in the meta, so I don't think that's the last we'll see of Talia in this series. Ziggs ban makes sense as well. You don't want to give more support to the Vi ult, because if you press R on the same target, a lot of time that's fatal damage.
Yeah, plus the extra poke from the Ezreal, that's like just artillery that is going to be hard to absorb as just Emilio. Let's see what APA wants to pull out now, because when I think like Ziggs gone, Talia gone, Orianna gone, now even like Victor and Anivia, would it be like an Azir focus for APA? I feel like the pairings of the Vi aren't as obvious for me at this point, unless there's something I'm missing. So maybe just going back to an old classic instead.
Yeah, I mean, Ryze is always available if they want to try and play side lanes a little bit, threaten with the Vi Ryze on side. But they do need to blind pick, and that's going to allow Quad to pick whatever he wants. Rumble going this late in the draft is always a little bit interesting.
Yeah.
But Gakkos gets to play his carry, and likely an answer pick here by Thanatos.
I've loved the Ornns coming into the meta. If it's locked in, it's just such a strong engage tool. You pair it with the Vi, you have 2 engage tools. But because you also have the Vi, maybe it instead is a pivot towards the Cassante. Thanatos locking that in, saying, yep, it's going to be Blabberous primary engage.
Well, it's interesting with Thanatos playing the Cassante into Rumble, because it is a losing matchup for most players.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's a losing matchup for Thanatos.
Okay,
when he was
that's a lot
playing
of
it
confidence.
against Fudge already this year, he just ran him down at level 4, got the solo kill Cassante versus Rumble. Thanatos' laning is so good that it's almost a comfort pick for him in Rumble. We'll see if he's able to do that against Gakkos.
It's ridiculous what Thanatos has been able to do in lane. And I did forget something when it comes to mid lane pairings with the Vi, the Annie. It's another just point and click stun. You're able to set up the Vi can set up the Annie. You have a lot of burst damage, and this also provides additional CC tools or team fight tools for C9 to start things off.
And the Cassiopeia comes in as the last pick for Quad. An old favorite of his, comfort pick Cassio. I gotta say, even though the champions don't look super common on FlyQuest side, I really like what they put together.
Yeah?
I really like it. I think they have winning top mid. Arguably, I mean, bot lane, if Lucian gets a few items, it's winning. And then the bigger thing is they just have a lot of heals and shields to put onto whatever C9 tries to dive on.
Sure.
And then they have way more sustained damage. So I just think they've picked a lot of good answers to C9's dive composition.
It's a good point between the Cassiopeia, the Rumble, backing up the Lucian. That's more damage backing up an 80 carry than C9 have with the Cassante, with the Annie. It's about that upfront burst when you highlight the Shen jungle, which you were right, is in the jungle there. It's going to answer a lot of that, but it's going to be on Griffin then to execute. Blabber did kind of have his number the last time these teams faced off in lock-in.
Yeah, if Griffin can keep it together in the early game, but I do feel like his mindset is going to be different here as Shen into the Vi. The last time they played, he had a lot of issues, often trying to be aggressive.
Yeah.
He would contest the crabs or he'd contest the respawns of raptors. But here, all he's really trying to do is respond rather than get ahead of the Vi, because all of his lanes are naturally going to outscale what the other team has. So I'm hoping that Griffin comes into this game with a lot more patience.
I like the way that you framed it at the end there, hoping, because knowing Griffin, we never know what he's going to actually do when it comes to in the game. But game number 1, loaded onto the Rift here. Griffin will drop a ward down and spot if Blabber starts at the Raptors. Blabber saw that go down, so currently more information to C9's jungler.
Yep.
But pretty standard start, all things considered.
Let's see if Blabber tries to get in the head of Griffin early. It was very successful last time, but like I said, all Griffin wants to do is just clear his camps and get to level 6 before Vi makes any funny business happen, because once they're both level 6, he can stop all of the ganks.
And I like that other ward there from Blabber to dropping it down to see if Griffin wants to go for an invade on the Raptors, because Blabber can actually path up towards Krugs, go back towards the Raptors. If Griffin gets too aggressive, catch him there. But I don't, again, imagine that Griffin would do that if you're the Shen, just going for the farm. So instead, I want to put our focus, Jat, elsewhere on the map. Where do we expect, if Shen's going to be power farming, just trying to hit that level 6, where do we think either team could start to put pressure early on?
Bot lane is where we're going to see if Karma Ezreal can get as much push as possible. Ezreal trying to stack his passive up, but Masu and Cryogen just play so incredibly aggressive in these 2v2s, and Vulcan's KDA is at stake.
Yeah.
So we found this out earlier. The best KDA by a tier 1 player this split, but also you would be on pace for the best KDA by a support in LCS history, surpassing himself.
Yeah.
When 2020 C9 went 17-1 on their way to a championship.
Nothing like taking your own title, taking your own record away from yourself. So we'll see if he can continue it, keeping pace. If he goes 0-0-0 for the rest of the split, he could do it.
That is very good analysis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Technically.
They would lose. He just never leaves base.
Yeah.
They lose 4 games in a row.
Do it for the KDA
but he
record,
gets the
Vulcan.
KDA record.
But also, again, the conversation about how would the jungle matchup went last time, I do like this kind of pivot from FlyQuest, because it really feels like they're growing as a team, and that was a question on a lot of our minds, is how would FlyQuest grow? This wasn't a roster that you look at and say they're going to smash right away. Some people maybe had faith in that, but I definitely expected them to be more of like a scaling roster, especially when you look at how they've been adapting to the series that haven't gone their way, because obviously they're not at the same caliber of last year's FlyQuest roster, which was kind of dominating everybody. This is a new rebuild, fresh young kids on the block.
And it's interesting how Griffin is now walking over a ward. So in terms of playing the early game a little bit slow, that's not the name of the game here. AP has first move, so Griffin's going to have to bail here.
Yeah, it actually goes for the Vault Breaker towards Vulcan. Nice sidestep there as Blabber now answers it back here. Griffin missing the taunt and gets punished for it. First blood to Sven. C9 picking up the kill.
Wow, that is a familiar sight.
Yeah.
I hate to say it. The last time they played, that happened a lot. And I could see Griffin's idea that they were just going to turn on the Ezreal Karma, but how? If you're not going to flash taunt and try and burst, you're never going to be able to have that damage. Now he immediately gives a little bit of extra gold over to Sven, who'd already returned for that early tier, and now is laning with double buffs. So C9 off to the races.
It's going to get even harder for Masu and Cryogen from this position, who have been trading well up to that point, but the red buff, blue buff combo is just going to be too much. Sven and Vulcan will continue to push this wave in, and yeah, I go back. It was right after I was making the point, pivoting in the game plan, you know, trying to correct those past mistakes, that Griffin does essentially what he had done last time that these teams faced off. A reminder that they played twice in the lock-in, once in a best of 3, once in a best of 5, and the record was 1-5.
Yeah, Blabber really had their number, and Sven and Vulcan are just pummeling FlyQuest under this turret with the double buffs on the Ezreal and the Karma.
Sven's going for it. He's looking for the kill. Underturning is punished. Cryogen with the turret help will get the kill. And now he's wearing the double buffs.
Sven and Vulcan try and hit the home run and end up striking out. They had the entire lane. They were going to force a recall. There was going to be a lot of minions they lose, but they go for the dive. And I mean, they didn't even have heal, but the barrier ends up keeping him alive. Let's watch this one more time. So Sven has his passive pretty stacked up. Once he lands that Q, he thinks, okay, I can go in for the all-in. Misses his W, shifts in.
Good
the
flash.
Extra heal and shield from Cryogen's E ends up keeping Masu alive.
And body blocking the Q.
Unbelievable.
Body blocking the Q was huge there. Now the laning phase is completely flipped on its head, as Sven and Vulcan were kind of poised to run away with it. They're still in the lead, but now it's a little more even.
And this is just a reminder of the history between Griffin and Blabber. So this is the start of 2026. Griffin recalled a story about when he went to the Chicago finals at 15 years old, and they started chanting for Blabber. He looked up to him, said he wanted to play a pro. He makes into the LCS, and he just gets bullied.
Yeah.
He gets bullied through the entire lock-in tournament 2 weeks in a row, the last week of the regular season, as well as the first week of the playoffs. Blabber just ends up killing him over and over, either at a Raptor, a Blue Buff, or at Scuttle Crab. And the question was whether or not that's going to continue happening today, because in the 6 games they played, only one of them was a win for Griffin, and Blabber had his number. Here, he does have the answer pick in his mind. He already died at the first crab, though, and now they're starting up this Drake, so we could see another fight.
And they see Blabber on the control ward that he just cleared, but Blabber will walk away. A big part of that was the chunk. Sven and Vulcan were very low, or rather, Sven was very low in the bot lane. Moss and Cryogen traded heavily, so you know, you die at the crab, but you get the dragon. So Griffin is at least getting back on the board here and has not really fallen that far behind in the jungle clear either.
I mean, the failed 2v2 dive by Vulcan and Sven kind of forgives the sins of the first blood from Griffin, which gave Sven the double buffs once he already had his tier. That was such a powerful position for Sven Vulcan to be in that they were not able to capitalize on. Now Blabber's level 6, thinking about going for quad.
Just a little too far right. Ooh, and doesn't get the ball breaker over the wall.
Yeah, Quad's going to be a little more vulnerable than Cassio of days past because there's no phase rush to run away, but he's going to have a lot more damage because he's gone Deathfire Touch. It's interesting, Storm Raider Surge just hasn't really landed for a lot of the old phase rush users. They've kind of all navigated back towards Deathfire Touch, so they're just nuking people, even if they're a little more vulnerable.
Ooh, Cryogen gonna get hit by the root right there. More damage from Sven. Masu looked like he was going for a reset, but they'll have to stay for one more wave. But to your point there, I do love the Deathfire touch coming back. This is one of my favorite keystones in metas past. I mean, it's a little different now. I don't think it's going to be the same as like old Jhin Deathfire. That was a fun one, but you know, it's still fun to have it back in some capacity. So far, Quad, though, is crushing that laning phase when it comes to CS, about, you know, 2.5 waves ahead.
Yeah.
Now the bot lane will get a reset, but Quad's having a really good time, all things considered, in Daejeon.
He is, and he's also already itemized that Null Magic Mantle, which is just important because the Cassio versus Annie matchup is a lot about thresholds. Cassio's going to have a lot more sustained damage, and it's whether or not APA can get him 100-0.
Yeah.
So getting that little bit of magic resist is just going to allow Quad to keep cycling his cooldowns if APA ever does try to go for the all-in.
And we did see that Sven stuck around for 2 plates there, so getting some of that gold back. But here, Cryogen's rotating to the mid lane to help Quad get another wave shoved in, right as the grubs spawn. Griffin's already heading up there. Vulcan's answering the roam from Cryogen. Has level 6 to Cryogen's level 5. And looks like Griffin will actually start up these grubs. Cryogen's sticking around as well, just in case something breaks out here.
Yeah, and honestly, all FlyQuest has to do is play a little bit of defense. If Blabber goes for an ult, then there's a chance that Griffin goes for an ult. Let's see if
over the wall. They saw Cryogen, and Blabber lands it.
Here comes Shen,
goes for the season desist. There's the stand united. Shen can keep Cryogen alive, and there you had it. They press R, you press R. Vulcan is here, but Cryogen is standing his ground. Masu flashing over the vault breaker there. Now looking for more damage onto Blabber. Flash from Sven. Blabber's out of there. Even Quad roamed all the way down from the mid lane, but no kills on either side.
Ults burn top lane as well as Gatghost gets into a little scuffle with Thanatos.
Yeah, interesting series of events right there. Because top laners just wanted to be part of the action. Like, all right, they're having fun down there. Let's just press R on each other as well. But I want to highlight what you had said in draft chat. Vi presses R, Shen presses R. You're not going to find the same, lethal picks here as a Vi when you're against the Shen comps.
Yeah, only one one grub taken by Griffin as he was doing that when Blabber went for that play. Sends his camps a little bit off cycle, but that's exactly what you want to do. Like, if Vi never gets kills and can never execute people, then Shen's in a happy state in the game because really, FlyQuest is just waiting for the scaling from the Cassio Lucian Rumble.
I will say Blabber's ultimate at level 1 at least until Shen gets more cooldown reduction comes up a little faster, so you could look for another play like instantly, but it's not like many flashes were burned. I guess Masu and Cryogen don't have them, so you could look bot side again. But you're going to have a short window to do that. I'd guess like 20, 30 seconds, not knowing the exact cooldown.
Yeah, it is 30 seconds, so it's a bigger window than you'd expect. It's a very beefy cooldown for the Shen on his rank 1 stand united.
Ooh,
but he gets the Void Grubs, and he sees Blabber. That's a really nice timing for him to be able to clear the objective and also get vision.
APA now looking
no
for
flash,
a play here. Cryogen was just getting wards down. Tibbers goes out. Cryogen has to pop the ultimate just to keep his health bar up. True Shot Barrage will set up the damage for APA to knock him down. C9 find another kill.
And they're picking on Cryogen here. This is something a good number of teams have found success with Cryo. Him and Griffin don't link up as much as a lot of other support jungle combos, so Cryo, I feel like, fairly frequently gets caught while going for vision alone. You see how Griffin had just finished the grubs, so when he's going for vision there, APA can pretty safely engage on him, knowing that Shen isn't going to be there to cover, and they're able to get the kill.
I think Cryogen maybe a little false confidence from the last Shen ult. He's like, I'm invincible!
With no flash! I have my ultimate, though.
Unfortunately, it does go down, so that's more gold in the pocket now of C9, specifically APA, who was still falling behind in the CS department pretty heftily to Quad, but having the Dark Seal 2 stacks now, you're kind of getting the stats back immediately, so you're not really falling behind as the laning phase continues, because Quad's also going to be going for more of a scaling build here with the Rod of Ages. Yeah.
Just trying to get that little bit of extra durability. Protoplasm Harness is also completed on Griffin to match Blabber's Sundered Sky, and the ultimates are back up again. So the next Vi ultimate can still be answered by the next Stand United.
I will say, though, the Rod of Ages already picked up by Quad, pretty big deal, as he's now going to be stacking that up and can just stay in lane pretty much indefinitely. You have the mana regen, you have the health regen as well whenever you press your abilities, and with that little bit of magic resist, Andy's probably not going to be able to like, burst you at any point to get you out of that lane. But C9 will start up the next dragon here, as they will even TP APA down towards just to make sure that they get the objective.
Yep, Sundered Sky completed for Blabber for his MasterCard Power Spike, is able to take the dragon with that. And FlyQuest also concedes the dragon completely by moving their duo lane up. It's pretty telegraphed though, I thought, since they didn't show bottom lane, but they're going for a 4-man.
TP from Thanatos is a big punish if they can kill the Cassante. He flashes away, tries to take the Pathmaker back, and now all out over the wall from Cryogen, trying to use the support to get out of there. Drain tanking up, but still goes down. Survived longer than expected, but will die nonetheless.
I mean, that's a good play to shut Thanatos down a bit in the game. He was doing very well in that lane. He had the new Doran's Helm start, which is a little bit actually weaker in lane for better scaling, and Cassante scales extremely well off the armor and MR that the Doran's Helm provides, and he'd finished his Canic. But I was a little surprised he teleported straight back on that wave when the Lucian Melio had been missing for so long. Because if we talk about, since we have a pause, what had happened there, the whole time C9 was taking the Drake, Lucian Melio was off the map.
Yeah.
And I saw Thanatos recall to buy his item. I thought he was resetting to go deploy bottom lane because it was almost obvious that too many people were going to be top lane. But then when he teleports straight back onto the turret, I can see exactly why Griffin would use an aggressive stand United to go for a 4-man dive there.
Yeah, and we see that Thanatos goes down, says gold picked up from the side of FlyQuest. They're able to deny some golden experience from Thanatos, but Sven was still hitting that bot turret the entire time. So I'm curious after this pause to see where that bot turret is at in terms of number of plates remaining, because they got the top kill, but like everyone's kind of low. I don't think they stuck around to really farm plates up there either. So it's putting down a Cassante. Historically, in my mind, Jad, putting down a Cassante by like a little bit of XP and gold doesn't do much in the grand scheme of things. I think that C9 getting extra gold onto their Ezreal will also feel good, but looks like it was a short pause either way.
Yeah, thankfully, a very quick one.
Yeah, one plate left.
It's one plate, and it's a decent gold advantage for Sven with both role quests being completed. It bounces back a little bit because Masu was able to get that quick injection, but absolutely, like, if FlyQuest doesn't get Masu fed in this game, then they're going to have a really hard time killing Cassante.
Yeah.
Because when a Cassante itemizes all MR against the Rumble, he's also countering the other solo laner in Cassio. The jungle Shen with Protoplasm Harness doesn't do much damage, so it's all on Masu actually to cut through the Cassante, which is, I think, more the reason FlyQuest went for that dive, was to try and get gold on Masu.
And Sven right now almost 1,000 ahead, 900, just because he was farming those plates. Like, no, I guess, it does have also 100% KP for C9 right now, but only one of those being a kill. I think it's still a lot of that gold being just from the turret itself. As APA, he's got his jungler nearby, but not immediately here. Throws out the stun. Tibbers onto Gakkos to help clear out the wave as well. And Gakkos is even going to go for a reset. No, he has to cancel that back, yeah. Otherwise, you're just giving the turret over for free, essentially. Yeah. But Sven, big spike here with the Trinity Force, and he's even getting more plates mid lane.
Yep, and he's got the Karma in his back pocket to keep him safe from any counterattack from the Lucian. You can also see Griffin just kind of babysitting a little bit on the bot side here while he waits for his Stand United to come back, but it looks like he was able to get that aggressive ultimate out without Blabber being able to counter with the Vi ultimate of his own, and now he can match the next one with his Stand United.
We'll see where that one's going to be right now. Masu's low in the mid lane. He's taking a lot of the Ezreal poke, just trying to get as much of this wave as possible. I imagine we'll go for a reset after this. And there it does get just that. So Sven going to catch this next wave. Masu's going to go for a reset. And Cryogen's sticking on Griffin. No, actually, Masu will stick around. Again, like being this low when there's a Vi on the enemy team can be scary. Suppose with Emilio, with the Shen, maybe you're even trying to bait them in, thinking like, hey, look how low I am as an AD carry, but you're still like missing the cannon minion, not providing pressure on the map currently, so we'll see if he actually goes for the reset this time.
Yeah, currently the Grubbies aren't doing much for FlyQuest because they're barely getting to hit turrets. But they are actually moving the Cassio up right now to either help with this Rift Herald or help push the Ezreal Karma back. That kind of gives up the first turret of the game down bot for APA as soon as he wants to collect it.
Yeah, he's just going to push this next wave in. I think like one auto with the crystals built up on it should be enough.
Griffin
we'll
gets
see if Bud's able to get there fast enough.
Yeah, Griffin gets the Rift Herald though.
Yeah, there it is.
APA gets it.
Yeah, APA, he's just this. This is how APA plays this split. I've noticed this a lot. Like, the team will be doing something, and APA is just like, nah, I'm not interested. I'm just going to hit the bot turret. I'm going to stay in my lane and try and get as much gold as I can. And it's just annoying to deal with, because if Quad wants to hover in case there's a fight at the Herald, well, now, you know, he's not going to be able to catch that bot wave. And they're hitting the turret for the first time in this bot side now.
That's the secret sauce of APA, honestly. One of the reasons he's so good on Ziggs is because he just has a really good sense of when he can get side lane waves and how he can get turret damage done. I'd say the best metas for APA was actually the AD carry meta, because he could just do this on Tristana, and he'd always end up with this like random 2,000 gold lead just because he played side lane so well.
Although I will remind you, in Lock-In, the only game FlyQuest beat C9 was the legendary game where it was a 4v5 fight at Elder, and APA on Azir was just hitting the bot turret the whole time and refused to come. So sometimes it also loses some games. As this mid turret, very low as well. I mean, Sven's just getting around and getting paid with these plates over and over again. It's not a massive gold lead overall for C9 as a team, but just individually, Sven is kind of set up to be the carry. Yeah,
I mean, how hard is this game for Masu to play right now? He is consistently under his turret, and he's about to lose the mid-tier 1 just to the Ezreal Karma. Also, the Annie Vi were in River, not on Vision, but looming, so that FlyQuest is scared of making a play, and they're probably just unable to enter River here, and the second Drake is going to go over to Cloud9.
Seems like it. Cryogen's going to clear out some of these wards. APA's walking up, gets the stun there onto Griffin, who still gets the Herald down. Remember in days past when you could actually cancel that animation.
The dark days.
Yeah.
The 4-second Rift Herald channel. They're going to kill this Herald, I think.
It's not getting the charge off. Yeah, it's hitting the waves. Going to go for an auto, and that is a wasted Rift Herald. C9 get the Dragon. They get back to the mid lane, deny the charge. And they have been playing a very good game when it comes to turret control. Bot turret, mid turret, not giving a lot of turret plates over to FlyQuest so far.
Whew. Sven Vulcan, just imagine how even more oppressive they'd be if they didn't gift that kill over under the turret. Because they've been really applying pressure. The whole lead for Cloud9 is just created by this Ezreal Karma. I'd say even the Drakes are created by the Ezreal Karma because of the permanent prio they've had.
Speaking of pressure, though, it seems like FlyQuest are trying to put some pressure top lane. They have 4 members here. They're going to go for Thanatos. The Equalizer's down, roasting him up. He goes for the flash away. If Thanatos gets out of there, has to commit the Summoner spell.
But FlyQuest is going to be able to get this turret down most likely. Thanatos could try to teleport back in, but that turret's going to die too quickly. Yeah. So that'll make it 1 turret to 2.
And Quad, despite having the big CS lead, was falling behind in gold to APA because of that kill and because of the turret that APA was able to, farm some play spot side as well. So this will help Quad equalize a little bit. Still 500 down overall. It's kind of Gakos holding the fort here for FlyQuest. He's the only one with a significant lead on their side, essentially matching Sven and keeping the gold across the board relatively even.
It is, and I know he's in a winning matchup right now, but we have to mention the champion pool for Gakos. Rumble, not a tank. Rumble actually one of those carries, which he is 7-1 on so far in the Spring Split. 1-4 there on the tank, so has opened up a decent lead for himself. I will say most of that lead is when he gets the squad to come help him. Sure. Because I think Thanatos was holding very well in the 1v1. It's just when he gets 4-man Dove is where Gakko starts getting those little leads.
And they've gone for 2 of those now. One actually worked after the TP, big punish. The other one, they just get the flash. And Thanatos is going to be fine just back up in that top lane. So it looks like APA is in the bot lane against Gakos here. Actually goes for the Rocket Bell forward for the follow-up stun. There's no turret and no backup for Gakos. He has the Stand United, but in comes Blabber and the rest of C9. That's a teleport to cover. The taunt lands onto APA. Gakos flashes. Looks like it's going to be a 1-for-1 to start things off, but Gakos is living for a while. Now the rest of C9's joined in. We got a full-on team fight bot lane. Griffin trying to get out of there, but Thanatos leading the charge for C9, pulls him back. Flash from the Shen. Mystic shot over Mystic shot is now Quad having a flash as well. Sven is unleashing this fight, and C9 hold their ground and define their territory. FlyQuest got to get out of there.
That is crazy that it only ends up being a 1-for-1. I thought FlyQuest had gone too deep, but Sven is trying to be more aggressive.
Yeah, there's the Choline Sven almost throwing the play, and now he's kind of leaving his jungler out to dry. Blabber has to Vault Breaker over the wall. Ooh, Sven is playing on a needle's edge here, really trying to push any lead he's got.
But the game stays incredibly close. Griffin was able to chase down that kill onto APA, and even though I think there's a temporary tempo gain for C9, FlyQuest to be able to get these waves cleared. This did start with APA just having a bunch of damage here with his Malignance completed, and Tibbers just burning Gakos down as much as possible. Nice blast cone there by Griffin to delay the vibe, but then he realizes, wait a second, my Rumble actually needs me. I'm going to die. Everybody TP's in, so Rumble, Cassiopeia, Cassante, and coming up here, watch for Quad's Cassio ultimate on this re-engage. I thought this is where the fight was either going to start or end. It's going to be in the tri-brush that happens in a little bit. Everyone on C9 manages to avoid this stun, which is just crazy. Ooh. That buffer by Thanatos, like how does he avoid that? That's insane. Doesn't lead to a kill, but really intense fight here.
Oh, you can see Griffin, physical reaction there. I think the FlyQuest realized maybe they could have gotten a little more. C9 really pushed for that. I liked the start of it. It went a little longer than expected. I think both these teams trying to show off a little bit on Summoner's Rift. Prove that they are the better one.
A sneaky little play here that is spotted by the blue trinket. No.
I mean, they can commit. Thanatos' bot side, no TP.
So Cassio Shen killed it so fast, but C9 knows it's happening.
Okay, there's the True Shot Barrage. C9 are realizing what's going on. That's a teleport in from APA. And now FlyQuest, do they actually want to commit for it? Gakko's
just
TP's
staying
in
on
as
it?
well. Thanatos is not there. It's a 5v4 for FlyQuest. Big damage as Equalizer goes down again. Blabber's going to go down to start the fight. FlyQuest kill the jungler, and Baron is still low. Petrifying Gaze will be sidestepped by APA, but Thanatos is delayed. Baron's the focus. It's secure. Thanatos in the pit, trying to buy space for Sven to free fire. Quad will be sacrificed. C9 get one answered, but FlyQuest get the Baron. Can Masu get out is the question. He's got a blast cone there.
And then recall.
I mean, if he just presses B right now, no. He's taking the long way around. Can C9 catch up?
I mean, I feel like they can with Ezreal Karma, but he has the empowered recall.
Oh, he was looking for the back. Oh,
Yeah.
straight into Sven's waiting arms. Masu will go down, tries to trade one back, but C9 will pick up 2 in the extended play.
And potentially go to Soul Point here, so a lot to take in. But the main takeaway for me is FlyQuest are complete psychopaths. The Baron's at 7,000 health, and they get the anti-TP, and they say, no, we're good. We know it's 5v4 temporarily, so they burn down Blabber. And even here, they're all at half health. The Baron's shredding them. They decide to finish the Baron, but they almost get away with the whole thing. They know there's no smite on the other side, so they can secure it with the smite. Gakko's has no ult, no flash. He has to bail out the backside. And if Masu was able to get out, it would have just been a 1-for-1 plus the Baron. But now that they've lost 2 and the Drake, I think it's really debatable whether or not that was a worth play.
I think the Drake is the bigger part as we're back to life here. Thanatos finding Griffin, trying to take away the red buff. Blabber's here, Vault Breakers just to go for the camp itself. Griffin will blast cone away and gets out of there. The third Drake for C9's big. Now they're on slow point. Now they can look for that as a win condition in 4.5 minutes.
Yeah, biggest bait of 2026 is actually Baron. They're down 700 gold off the 2 deaths, and they've also lost the
Somebody
Drake.
auto the turret. Nobody's autoing it. Okay, well, Thanatos TP's in. APA gets a flank right there. Stuns up Cryogen. Almost one-shots him. As now the rest of C9 are looking to front the back here. They're getting out of the Masu. The 80 carries down. Lucian caught out of position as the front line did not hold for FlyQuest. Losing their 80 carry. They got to back off here as C9 push midway.
Didn't see quite how Masu got in that position, but that was through the Stand United.
Yeah.
So a massive amount of burst that C9's able to get onto Masu, and that just makes that Baron power play even less effective.
I feel like FlyQuest might be rattled. Like, they had 3 people in range to auto that turret and just get the turret plates, and nobody hit it. Like, they're so focused on the fight, I suppose?
Yeah, I don't think they could have finished the whole turret, so it's more important to focus on the fight. Maybe Ellis is in their back mind about not being gold.
I'm clicking forward right now.
Okay,
Watch me, watch me.
Still, no flash cancel still.
I got Melio.
Yeah, yeah. Melio 1 HP.
Melio flash.
Flash. I'm
Actually,
looking.
I'm disconnected from Musen. I'm disconnected
Looking
from Musen.
Lucia. Looking Lucia. Look Lucian.
Coming.
Sentinel.
I have big shield here.
Nice. Look Rumble, guys. Oh, catch it all, catch it all.
Run blast flash. I'm no mana.
Yeah,
I can't go. Already really good, guys.
Yeah.
Melio flash there.
We break the Baron.
Lucian
flash
flash.
too.
Lucian flash.
Okay, nice.
Lucian, Melio. I'm basing.
I have Iron base in 100 gold. Don't fight. They're strong, okay?
We're cast field. Use ulti.
Nice, guys.
Good job, guys.
Clear comms from C9 there. You could see it was actually Thanatos landing that Q3 on Masu that threw him back into the team that forced Masu to try and dash flash away. They're still going to try and break this mid turret though.
Again, one auto, boom.
There we go.
Big damage as FlyQuest will now finally crack that mid turret, answering 2 for 2 against C9 and trying to get some gold back in their pocket. Still a gold lead overall for C9 as Masu actually looks to jump in on Sven. This is the scary thing about Lucian Melio is like at any point, if you're too far forward in the lane, they can just press E, press R, and you kind of die.
Yeah, he's also got those new boots, the Glutinous Greaves. I heard Hysterics call them the Gluttonous Greaves.
I thought it was Gluteus Greaves that he called them. Somebody called them that over there as well.
So there are a couple things.
Producers just said gluty booties in my ear, and I need everybody to hear that. I can't be the only one.
So like Glutinous Greaves, like they're gluten, or I like calling them glute boots now. I just feel like that's easier.
Boots.
Yeah, that's just easier than Gluttonous Greaves. So Masu with the glute boots, but he has not stacked them, which doesn't happen that much in pro. There's a big debate going on online whether or not these boots are worth it in pro since the pace of games is so much slower and the Omnivamp just takes so much longer to turn on. Particularly evident in this game.
Yep. I think the moral of the story, though, is there's a lot of funny names you can call those boots.
Yeah.
And that's good for everybody.
It's only 5% Omnivamp now, 27 minutes into the game. Hello, Thanatos.
Thanatos
Hello,
finds
Cassio.
the all-out onto Quad, has to flash away. Stand United coming in now, so FlyQuest committing a Summoner spell, a TP, and an ultimate to get Quad out of there, and C9 just back off and are looking no worse for wear.
But multiple ultimates there. Gakkos did get the wave, and his ult will be up pretty soon again. It's level 16 now, and soul point, or the actual soul, won't be up for another minute, so Rumble Ultimate will be fine.
But it gives, I guess, credence to how these teams have played so far in this game. We're scrapping over lane states and game states that I don't get used to team scrapping for. Because, like, when it's a Dragon, team fight makes sense. When it's a Baron, team fight makes sense. But they're fighting when there's no objectives up, and they're looking for these picks at different times. And I think it's showing that they just want to play fast League of Legends right now, as another turret will go down. Gakkos picking up the third one for FlyQuest.
Yeah, he's got 2,000 gold in pocket, so he's wanting to get that Zoni's Hourglass as soon as possible for the Chemtech Soul. That's potentially why he ulted that wave. Just trying to accelerate his gold for this game-changing fight. There it is.
Okay, not bad. Gakkos picking up a big team fight item, as this next team fight will be very important for FlyQuest. Giving up this Dragon Soul, not wise. C9 want this one, and currently are trying to jockey for mid lane position here
Quad's
with
got
their
the
push.
Cassio flank.
Yeah, Cassiopeia walking up. C9 spotted it out as a TP will come in. APA went for the rocket belt. Not finding the stun afterwards. Equalizer used and just kind of whiffed. C9 walk away from it, and FlyQuest don't have that big team fight ultimate anymore. They're just going for the Baron.
Yeah, they can't walk in to Annie, Ezreal, Karma, so they're just going to try and burst this Nash, though. They'll probably be able to get it, but this could be a repeat of the last fight, because Blabber's staying on Soul.
APA still has Flash Tibbers, so if they group up, it's really scary for C9, although it is Blabber at the Dragon, so C9 will just go for the 4v5 fight in the pit right now. Thanatos is in there again, and the Baron goes down again. APA trying to chase away the carries as Thanatos buying so much space. Stun lands on a Gakkos. Sven's free firing onto him. APA as well goes into the stasis. Now Blabber's joined up. C9, they don't need the Barons, they just want to win the fights, but Blabber falls in the pit as Quad finds the petrified gaze. FlyQuest fight back. Thanatos low, has to jump away. Blast going to safety for the three members of C9 still on Summoner's Rift, and FlyQuest get the Baron, and this time they're getting out.
This is not their side of the map, though. Mastu's chasing.
Mastu's gonna go for even more. We'll get the kill onto Thanatos eventually. The shield's coming up. Thanatos buying time, but Vulcan now next to be chased down. The fight went so long, Equalizer's back. Gakkos roasting up the Karma, and FlyQuest just found a 4-for-0 and Baron.
What a high-pressure performance here by FlyQuest. The difficult choice to take Baron for Soul, and since C9 had the Soul, they were confident taking a temporary 4v5 as Blabber arrives. But as we talked about, the sustained damage from Masu and Quad is so high. They push Thanatos out of the fight, and Gakkos buys so much time on the outside. Watch Griffin on the left here. After taunting, ult back in to keep FlyQuest alive. Then Quad is able to land the stun onto Sven from the Cassio ult, and the rest of FlyQuest can chase them down.
Beautiful play from Griffin right there. Essentially 1v3 on the side while Thanatos was in the pit, and he's got a lot of magic resist, but eventually all that AP from the Cassiopeia and the AD from Lucian will get through that health bar. FlyQuest wearing purple again. Let's see if they can get more for this Baron buff. Already a 5,000 Baron power play.
But I feel like the game is still in a very close state, because that Soul is not going anywhere, but FlyQuest definitely feels like they've hit a power spike with the IE onto Masu and 3 items on both of their solo laners.
And the Baron, or rather the Dragon Soul, you know, there's a stipulation as to which soul gives which amount of stats and like kind of gold value right there. I would argue it's pretty close still with only 5,000 for FlyQuest, but if they can get more with this siege, just a second Baron, they have the spike you're talking about on Lucian. If they can start cracking these inhibs, that's when the map control really comes online for FlyQuest, but they can't get caught out here. Knockback onto Quad, he's got Gakkos behind him, and actually massive damage onto Thanatos. I guess not enough magic resist for those two.
And the ultimate from Shen comes in over the top. They shred him with the Bloodletter's curse from the Rumble. Now they can continue pushing with this Baron. No front line for C9.
FlyQuest have struggled against C9 so far in 2026, but a reminder that if they win this series, they lock top 4. They're looking for that as the Timber stun on Amasu, but he's just got too much shields, too much healing. Cryogen keeping his 80 carry topped off right there, and that was the one punch from C9. Timber is down for another about 30 seconds here, but looks like FlyQuest will back off.
Yeah, I think they're going to take their bags of gold to the shop. Not even close. Masu's fine. Able to reset. A lot of gold across the board. 2,000 gold for Masu, about 1,000 for Blabber and Quad. They got to be feeling pretty good, and a death cap completed for Gakko. So he has been... How does he have so much gold?
5,000 gold lead for Gakko.
How does he have so much gold?
That's literally this. Gakko's
like,
wallet.
He's up 30
just right
CS in 2 kills, but 5,000 gold. It's almost like every turret has gone to him.
I believe he got 2 of the 3 turrets, because Quad
Yeah.
got the top one, Gakko's was present for the mid one, and he got the bot one alone.
That's incredible.
Yeah, oh, there's the Colin late game on Sven. Big shields come in from Vulcan, but that's heal as well. So Summoner Spell down. And that's the strength of the Ezreals against the Lucian. Melio late game, you can just Arcane Shift away, but there's still this, you know, threat all the time of Masu finding that big push. The empowered damage from the Melio passive is crazy on top of Lucian CBS.
Yep. This is the late game of Lucian Melio is really lethal.
Really good. Think about like Lucian Nami, but I actually think it's stronger.
A little bit. And then also just they have so much counter engage built into their comp. And that's what we're really seeing in these fights. If Thanatos finds a catch, he's almost just pulling in trouble rather than pulling in someone that he can one-shot, because the Cassio's durable enough, the Rumble's durable enough, and when you add in the Shen Guardian Stand United on a level 16 Shen, now 17, it's just too much to burst through, and then FlyQuest is just winning these delayed fights through the Chemsel.
Yeah. And I like that you highlight even like Quad, so much HP stacked in this Cassio build, plus the Seraph shield, so that's not an ideal target. Gakkos has the Zonias. That's not an ideal target. If you can get on Masu, he's going to have Emilio in his back pocket, so I guess finding Cryogen is the goal at this point. And they found him twice early game, but we're not in the early game anymore. We're not going to have those same avenues as C9 currently grouped up as 5 are on the top side here, or rather bottom jungle. Thanatos all alone. C9 going to have to try and back up their top laner. Vulcan will get the shield on him as Gakkos will continue the chase down. I mean, yeah, FlyQuest aren't really threatened right now as they're hitting Thanatos.
And if you try and turn, that's when the Shen ult hits, so they're kind of just chasing with impunity here.
Blabber separated from the rest of the team as well. The equalizer will go down onto APA, who lands the Tipper stun onto Griffin. Now Blabber's joining up with the rest of the team. Thanatos still topping off right now, but a little chunked. Blabber goes over into the Dragon Pit. I don't think it was spotted by FlyQuest. Now they do see him. Vault Breaker's back to the team, but C9 are on the wrong side of the rift. Dragon's coming up.
With no Tibbers, though, the engage from C9 is a little bit weaker. Blabber doesn't want to just fly in with Vi ultimate because it would be answered by the Shen ult, and then FlyQuest has more sustained damage.
They got to find a way to kill Masu right here. He's got the Emilio in his back pocket. Quad's a little separated from the team as he's going to look to group up again.
Yeah, Ezreal poke needs to land here. That's really the only way that C9 can get damage down.
Yeah, it's got to be Thanatos creating space. Maybe Blabber finding the Vault Breaker engage.
Tipper's actually up in 5 more seconds.
Yeah, Quad is able to push the mid wave, and now we're fighting for the Dragon itself. It could come down to a smite fight. Thanatos heavily chunked. He goes for the flash, and Turbo Strike does not land on the Masu. Petrifying Gaze from Quad, but he's getting chunked out. Stand United Shield will keep him alive for a little longer, but he'll be traded for Thanatos 1-for-1. In the pit, stun lands onto 2. Dragon Cell at half health. Masu goes forward, flashes back with the Vault Breaker. Masu's alive, and Blabber's in trouble. Straight out of the Guardian Angel, and he's out of there. Gakko's on a killing spree into the stasis. FlyQuest kill the enemy jungler. No smite contest as Sven goes all the way back. He's the only hope for C9 to stop this as already Vulcan goes down. That's going to be a dragon picked up for FlyQuest.
Probably. Griffin has no smite.
And now they want more. Sven taunted up by Griffin. Masu with the double kill. FlyQuest win the fight and get the objective.
Man, you can really just see the team comp difference in these fights as FlyQuest win the longer it goes with the sustained damage of Rumble, Cassio, and Lucian. Baron is up, but everyone on C9 is dead except for APA, so FlyQuest is looking to end right here.
8 seconds on Thanatos. I don't think that's going to be enough.
Okay.
APA is going to go for the teleport. Extra move speed, maybe looking for a cheese play right there. Finds a big stun on the Geckos, and that is a shutdown, trading his life for the Endeavor. 1-for-1, teleporting for Thanatos. Low health on Cryogen. Masu has Griffin in his back pocket. The taunt will land, but is buffered. Thanatos taking the Pathmaker out of there. Is now the Vault Breaker charged up by Blabber. No flash available. Can't get onto Griffin. Masu still full health. So FlyQuest say, let's rally. We got the carries. Quad and Masu ready to go. The Colleen just out of range as Blabber gets to safety.
I think a bit of a misplay here by FlyQuest after getting the Elder Dragon. They could have just gone straight Elder to Baron. Instead, they just cleared the inhibitor. And then even that extra stick around, they spent most of their time just breaking through the empowered shield from Thanatos' teleport. I think they'll still get the Baron, but that's almost half of Elder Dragon gone for a mid inhibitor. FlyQuest extending their lead, but C9 actually the ones hanging on after what looked to be a game-ending Elder fight.
It felt like that was either the Baron or the game end. FlyQuest were not able to find either one. Let's get another replay at how crazy this fight was.
Dude, everyone flying everywhere, and it's when Quad flashes in, surely he dies quick, right? But Melio ultimate stand united, buys a bunch of time, and then Masu on the backside is pretty much untouched. All of C9's burst was burned onto Quad. And then watch the top side, Masu trying to fly onto Sven. Doesn't actually burn him to death, which extends the fight somehow as well. Griffin used both smites in the fight, so he's kind of sticking around, not willing to actually smite the Elder, and that's why they weren't finishing it super quickly.
Oh, tough margins here. FlyQuest are able to wear purple again as that's their third Baron of the game. Big damage carry from Masu in that last sequence as he does not have flash for this next fight. Oh, that was one true shot barrage. Ouch.
Yeah. Well, now, Shen on mid lane trying to just escort the minions into the base as FlyQuest is just going to let these supers do most of the work. Waiting for C9 to try an all-in engage. That's what Blabber would hope to find a one-shot, but just going up against now a 3.5 item Melio and a Locket Guardian Shen is going to be really hard to burst.
And the Greaves really helping Masu with that extra lifesteal. Cryogen keeping him topped off as well with the Cozy Campfire, and the turret will eventually fall. C9 might look to defend this inhib. They have supers coming in the mid lane. APA is catching those right now. FlyQuest, all 5 members grouped up around the top inhibitor, so C9 cannot defend it. FlyQuest get another structure. Yeah,
I wonder how they're going to try and end this one. They can't really all in, but if C9 goes for a fight, the gold deficit might be enough. FlyQuest would love to end here. It's just they don't actually have great engage. They're mainly counter-engage.
Masu! 1W auto is almost just completely chunking Sven as Thanatos tries to jump forward. The rest of the team not ready to follow him up. APA with a flash doesn't get enough done right there. Double kill to Masu. FlyQuest roaring to life in game number 1. Griffin on a rampage and the rest of FlyQuest behind him. GG, they'll take game 1.
Another W for the Jungle Shen. Griffin ends up completely neutralizing.
Not remind, I will out you, Jat. You didn't vote for him for player of the game.
I did not, because he was down 2,000 gold the whole game until he shows up in team fight.
Not about how you start,
understand how he wins
finish.
player of the game. And Cloud9 didn't win that game. FlyQuest had such a good draft.
And I think that this is, again, some of the anxiety of just being a C9 fan on display here. All the C9 fans out there, deep breath, pat yourself on the back, maybe get some tea, calm down, because it's tough watching this team. They are undefeated in series, but it feels pretty fragile, and FlyQuest were a team 3-2. C9 has been bodying them so far in 2026, but FlyQuest has been leveling up, and I think we're seeing a lot of their growth on display in that game number 1 to show that they have what it takes to at least get a game. Like, it's still series, but at least they're able to take down C9.
And I'd say for Cloud9, their split is 5-0, but it's had a lot of bumps along the way. Week 1, they won all 3 games against LYON. Week 2, they won all 3 games against Cloud9. They did sweep Disguised and Shopify. Sentinels and Cloud9 in week 2. And then even in the most recent week, they won all 3 games against Dignitas, who, as we know, is 0-6. So it's touch and go for Cloud9.
Yeah.
But they are yet to lose a match in the Spring Split, and it looks like they're going Ashe Seraphine as the direction with this first pick. Let's see if FlyQuest tries to disrupt this combo with something like Ashe Lulu, or if they're just totally fine giving over the combo.
It's very reminiscent of that game number 1, having that push. They have Ezreal Karma game 1, now it's going to be Ashe Seraphine game 2. Unless FlyQuest want to deny it, we don't see this happen a lot, but it is locked in.
No, I like it in this instance. So what I see most commonly when people disrupt this combo is they'll go Ashe Lulu, and then the other team will end up with something like Ezreal Seraphine, but Ezreal's already gone. So now they'd be pushed to something like MF Seraphine. I'm really curious to see what the backup is for C9.
Theoretically, you can do a similar thing. You can make it rain, get the slow, and then try and, like, you know, a combo with that with the Seraphine. But that's a long cooldown on the Misfortune E. As a Misfortune support player myself, I know how useless you feel when you don't have that available. But J4 paired with Ashe for FlyQuest.
And matched with Xin Zhao very quickly. And they've pivoted, actually, to the Senna. So we might be seeing Static Shiv, Senna Seraphine, insane healing for the Xin, who might also be going the Dusk and Dawn build with Titanic Hydra.
We saw that yesterday.
Yeah, although that really gives healing reduction and shield reduction value. It's just an extra reason to build it early. So already excited by this little shakeup early on in draft.
I'm wondering who would then pick it up for C9, because, I mean, J4 could get a Serpent's Fang. Not sure if that's like the, or rather not Serpent's Fang. I guess also for the shielding, you know, you're probably gonna want both of those.
Yeah, potentially Jarvan would try to sneak it into his build, and then Ashe would probably build the healing reduction.
Yeah. Unless they find some other, you know, maybe like a Morello's builder or something like that later on. But we'll see what they end up going for here. Either way, the cores from each team is about bot lane and jungle for both sides. I am really liking what C9 have right now, because this Xin Zhao is going to be nigh unkillable.
Yeah, same as it ever was. Play for bot. Everybody run bot lane, fight over that first Scuttle Crab, and see what happens.
And that worked well for C9 in game 1.
It did.
They mind-controlled Griffin on Shen to go contest them at the Scuttle.
They did.
And we're able to get that early lead. Unfortunately, then it was kind of like Sven going for the aggressive play under the bot turret and throwing some of that lead. I don't think we have the same threat of that on Senna. You can't really go for the Arcane Shift under turret.
Correct.
On this pick.
Yeah. It is
good news for C9 fans.
Harder to shift to your demise.
Yes.
On Senna.
Not impossible, but harder.
Yeah, you can flash it, but that would be silly.
Ziggs ban, and then the Jace ban on the side of C9, plus Talia. So still focused on C9's mid lane champ pool here, as APA will have to go a little deeper into that.
Yeah, so C9 is the first pick team. FlyQuest is the blue side team, which means that FlyQuest is likely going to hold for top lane counter pick. We'll see, though, with what ends up getting locked in, if it's Quad or Gatgos is champion. With the Aurora, that's still technically flexible. That could be Gatgos or Quad, so they're trying to keep C9 as off balance as possible. Based on that look that Gatgos was doing, he's not playing Aurora, and he's trying to figure out what he's going to be playing later.
Buy me some time, Quad. Let's see what we got here. Trying to think of like the safe blind picks available still for C9 that would match their draft. I mean, I'm wondering if you just want to go Bruiser Bro, something like a Renekton here, because then like Xin Zhao, Renekton, they will both just be unkillable with the Seraphine and Senna, but it also gives even more credence to the, you know, healing regen cut.
Yeah, I mean, the more Bruisers and Bash Brothers you can put in a line to go with Senna Seraphine, the better.
Yeah.
Could even have seen a Gnar angle, but they respect Gatgos' like weird counter picks to try and punish that, so Renekton's a little bit harder to punish. And then Victor's just scaling here in the mid lane for APA.
Speaking of weird counter picks, though, Kled would be in that category. Victor, though, for APA into the Aurora, because FlyQuest is hovering the top laner. I'm assuming we have enough evidence to confidently say that it's Aurora in the mid lane. What will be paired against Thanatos' Renekton?
They're laughing about it. They're laughing about the Sion pick. I did mention that he wins a lot on carries.
Yeah, what was the record on tanks?
So it's 1-4.
Ooh.
And he only has 1 loss on carries. I would classify Sion as a tank. He said the reason is he can't carry Masu when he's on tanks. Which, if we look at last game, 5,000 gold ahead on Rumble. And Masu was 2,000 gold down before team fights.
Oh no, it's all coming together.
I'm Team Gatgos currently.
Okay.
So
are you Team FlyQuest draft with that then in mind?
Dude, this is hard. I really love Senna Seraphine. If it was Senna Seraphine and it was C9 with the... I love the Sion in the draft, actually, because of the way it can absorb the Xin and the Renekton, but I do worry about FlyQuest's ability to actually kill things. Just because the Senna Seraphine heals and shields can be so massive cutting through the Renekton's in.
And when I think of Aurora, I don't think about the same like Cassiopeia sustained damage. I think more of that flanking burst style.
Exactly. But the rest of the team is a little bit more about sustained team fighting. So maybe there'll be enough burst with Jarvan and Aurora from Griffin Quad.
Sure.
But the longer fights, if the Senna Seraphine don't get one shot, and the Xin will just be repetitively healing, would favor C9.
Low mobility for Sven on the Senna. Let's see if he can absorb the dives, as that is a fantastic view of the little critter there on Summoner's Rift. C9 versus FlyQuest. C9 with their backs against the wall. They would like to continue their undefeated streak here as they're going into a Team Liquid match next week. But FlyQuest, again, if they win this series here, they lock in top 4. This would be big for them.
It really would be. Sentinels potentially on the heels of FlyQuest. Sentinels can get to 3 match wins. FlyQuest, if they stay at 3 match wins, would lose the head-to-head to Sentinels, and Sentinels would actually move into top 4. So that's why FlyQuest needs to be on 4 wins. Deep Vision already placed by Thanatos, which will catch Griffin's start in the jungle.
Plays Quad and APA go for a couple of trades early on in the mid lane. Exact same start from the junglers as the last time around, at least when the visions dropped down. It's just Blabber now alternating towards clearing top, or rather bot to top, to back up Thanatos there. So we'll see if the J4 wants to do anything early on. Anytime I see a J4 and a Xin Zhao, I immediately start to think you can get creative with your pathing, especially when it's a player like Griffin. I mean, could look to impact the lane early.
It's possibly also why there's so many wards burned level 1.
Yeah.
Right? Look at the jungles right there. That's 3 of C9's wards were just used to scout the Jarvan. They currently have perfect vision of him on the blue buff.
2 FlyQuest wards as well. Yeah. Less information gained with those 2, but still they're investing in early vision. And we'll see if they're able to spot him by the time Blabber gets up towards the Raptors. At least they know that he's starting bot side, because by this point he would have been on the Raptors.
Yep. And on FlyQuest side, with the Jarvan, they're able to hawkshot. But we got to talk about C9.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fan concerns about C9 in playoffs, but boom! They're still undefeated in the regular season. None of the problems actually matter until they lose.
That animation was incredible. That was half our budget actually right there. Just that one. As yeah, I think it shows the concern of C9 fans. We've been talking about it on the broadcast. We're not shy about it. That like, they've been choking from regular season to playoffs, but this has also looked like, even though they're undefeated, one of the shakier regular seasons that they've had in recent memory. So,
but does that mean they're working on their issues before they're up for elimination? Could be. Could be.
I like that. Flip the script as the Hawkshot will spot out Blabber on the Krugs. Masu and Cryogen know that they're in a 2v2 isolated right now, so they actually walk forward. Heals used on both sides. DW will land, rooting up on Cryogen. And Masu and Cryogen just trying to get this wave in.
Yeah, I mean, I think in the straight-up 2v2, the Ashe Lulu is going to be stronger in the early trade. So Griffin, I think, very justified in going for the spot grab. I think they would win a 3v3. It's the scaling for me from Senna Seraphine. If they're able to stay alive in the lane, get souls, and keep their CS up.
Ghost burned by Masu there and didn't actually get a lot of value for it. Griffin spotted here. They're going to go for a dive potentially.
This is very bold.
Low health on Cryogen. Got chunked out to start things off. It's got to be Griffin. Last Embrace will land. Flash from Sven, but first blood to Masu.
Wow.
As Griffin will flash to safety. Vulcan continues the chase, but low mana on Seraphine. Can't imagine there'll be enough for a kill. FlyQuest get out.
These kids, man. These kids have no fear. They don't have all that scar tissue. If you don't remember that time we 3-man dove the Senna Seraphine and lost the whole game, they're not even thinking about that.
No.
They're just going for the kill, and they get it onto Sven, deny him a big wave. Crazy move right there to get the first blood onto Masu as well. That's really good for their lane.
Rare positive of TikTok brain. They don't have the memory
to remember the failed dives.
remember the failed dives. You know, they're just focused on the future right now. What's that next reel going to be?
Blabber is always going to go for that bot crab and then start looking. No matter what happened the last 7 games they played against Cloud9.
Just keep trying until it works.
Wow.
I don't own a dictionary. I don't know the definition of insanity. I actually don't own it. Do you own a dictionary, Jed? Does anybody own dictionaries anymore? Is that a thing?
I don't think people own
you
dictionaries
Google
anymore.
it now.
You Google it.
Yeah. But that's not even going to be a thing. I was thinking about that. Sorry, this is going to be a weird tangent.
It's fine.
In the future, we're not even going to say, oh, Google it. We're going to say, like, oh, AI it. Or, you know.
Yeah,
right?
I know.
It's weird. I don't like
plotted, GPT it. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Makes me uncomfortable. Cryogen and Masu have a wave in a decent spot right now if they can try and keep this frozen. Sven and Vulcan hitting it to try and get it into the wave, but Masu with that first gold, or first blood gold, picks up the Greaves and is now having a slight spike. No
Wave's in a
ghost, but
tough
they
spot.
continue to chase down. Flash support, last embrace will land. Root onto Masu, tried to flash over and still hit by the ability.
Yeah, I mean, really just trying to get into auto range there, as looks like Griffin is just camped out to start Dragon on spawn. They hawk Blabber to see him up by Kruggies, so they're very quickly going towards Dragon Soul with this bot prio.
Yeah, 5 minutes. It's rare that we see a Dragon taken this early, like directly
Literally
on spawn. They're already in the pit. And I think that FlyQuest, even though they didn't get the kill, they got so much pressure by pushing Sven back there that it enables them to go for this early play. Blabber will get the top crab on spawn. So he's where he needs to be.
Exactly.
That's Blabber's zone right
He's
there.
going to do the level 6 Blabber thing. This is actually super funny. I love the evolution. There was a match in Lock-In where Blabber was on Vi, and the whole meta of waiting until 5:30 to kill your last big camp so that you get your smite upgrades so you can contest the crab for level 6.
Yeah.
Basically, Griffin was waiting for that every single game, so Blabber queued over the back of the Dragon Pit and did a pre-5:30 Dragon. I feel like kind of the same thing just happened in this game
on the other
with
side.
Griffin.
Ooh, Between World popped. Quad's jumping away though as the Arcane Storm is answered. It's ult for ult and nobody going down, but Blabber's here, so Quad's got to be careful. Just hits the wave and backs off.
Yep, just trying to wave clear, but now level 6 Xin and mid-prio no TP. This is a very difficult to contest blue buff that Blabber is taking.
Yeah, Griffin
whoa,
actually
whoa,
just takes the
whoa.
flag and drag in, did not realize Blabber was there. Can walk away. Quad does not have TP to back him up. Gakkos is in lane, so Griffin might just look for the smite steal, but
Quad will be back soon.
Down. I mean, if Griffin can just get a range to smite it, no.
Yeah.
Okay, nice from Blabber there. He had the mid laner backing him up, and he's able to steal away a camp.
Yep, he does not want to give the dragon for free, so that's the extended cost of Griffin spending all that time to take the first Drake. One of the reasons you don't see junglers take Drake that early is it really takes a really long time.
Yeah.
And then the other jungler can use that tempo against you, but Gakkos is in a good spot in this lane against Thanatos. You can see really big health bar, hasn't lost many plates yet, so he's doing just fine.
Thanatos is up about a wave and a half in CS for himself as he gets that wave trimmed in. Let's see how much of that Gakkos is able to catch under turret as Masu and Cryogen again trading onto Sven and Vulcan here. Last embrace will land again, and nice follow-up damage from Vulcan. Cryogen has to use the summoner spell heal to stay alive.
Yeah, I mean, nearly just burst him down.
Yeah.
I was really shocked by that damage. Cryogen did know it was coming, otherwise he wouldn't have burned the heal.
Have you heard Gold's good on Seraphine?
Gold's good?
Gold's good on Seraphine.
Okay,
yeah.
good.
Yeah. You get stats, you get AP. I mean, it's too early for that really right now, but Busio said that, so.
Oh, I see that. The old friend of Masu.
True.
He's training his own Busio.
Yep. In the
Another Busio.
hyperbolic time chamber.
Yep.
Busio 2.0. It's like an update.
I think it would be pretty cool if we could see Masu versus Busio at MSI.
That would be pretty cool.
Fun.
Yeah. See if they're able to do it. As FlyQuest, I mean, they've been trying to put their name in that conversation this year, but they haven't really cracked into the top 4 definitively, in my mind. I feel like we're a top 3, actually, looking back to that, as Griffin's looking at APA right now. Flag and drag lands, the knockup's there, as Quad is able to get in, but flash over the Cataclysm, and now it turns back out of Griffin. C9 answer the play in kind, and we'll get 2 for the effort. Flash from Quad, he actually will burn down APA over time, and across the veil, I spoke too soon. FlyQuest mid laner's getting out of there for now. Can he weave between the turrets? He's channeling the TP. He's not stunned, he's out of there! And Quad takes the TP to safety back to the mid lane.
Well played, I guess.
1 for 1.
These kids, they're crazy. I can't believe that's a 1 for 1. It looked so disastrous with the way that it started because Griffin here sees the angle onto APA, but then as APA times his flash really well to get out of the Cataclysm, and then the Senna Seraphine all coming in over the top just executing. You think this is a waste, not to mention Gakkos hits nothing with his Scion ultimate, so they've invested so much, and it looks like 2 of them are going to die, but that last tick of damage finishing off APA and then Quad TPing to safety. Still a bad play overall from FlyQuest because they lost top lane tempo, they lose the 1-for-1, they lose mid lane TP, but it definitely wasn't disastrous.
They did get 4 flashes.
That's
so
good.
Blabber, APA, Sven, Vulcan, no flash on them, Dragon up in a minute. So FlyQuest could transition this into a second Dragon's take, as they're also just winning the 2v2 yet again. So Blabber will get the Void Grubs, and we see Griffin heading down towards the Dragon objective, which will be up again in 45 seconds. So I feel like that could be argued as the win. Thanatos didn't get that much done in the top lane while they were gone, so.
Yeah, and maybe a renewed rivalry for FlyQuest C9. That last year, FlyQuest had the upper hand, but they completely rebuilt their roster, and Lock-in Cloud9 dominated them in back-to-back series. Now we'll see with Griffin.
Going for another dive,
Oh
it's just
God.
that easy. Masu with the kill credit, now on to Sven, Cryogen taken up, then Masu and a double kill, the FlyQuest AD carry on fire right now in the bot lane.
They might have heard me asking Vulcan about his KDA before the games.
Yeah.
Vulcan, by the way, has the highest KDA of all players in Tier 1 going into this series.
Yep, I think that might have changed.
Updated afterwards. I don't remember how many times he died in Game 1.
I believe 2 if memory serves, but I'm not confident.
That's going to hurt your 11 KDA.
It is.
So as long as they keep diving him and Masu keeps getting more and more fed, he's going to be a problem.
Dragon started up by C9 because FlyQuest went for the dive. They actually were not there for the spawn of Dragon this time around. C9 instead early on, and they're sending Thanatos down as well.
So there's a big ultimate advantage for C9. This would be a very risky fight for FlyQuest to take.
AP and Thanatos are
Plus,
right
they
over the
don't
wall.
even have Scion.
Arcane Storm goes down, the Encore, and Cryogen's able to get out of that one as Quad tries to answer some damage, but with Thanatos being there, FlyQuest say, back off, we are not going to take that fight, and Thanatos will just TP straight into the top lane.
I like it, actually. I think that was well played by both teams. C9, I think, was hoping that FlyQuest was just going to send it in, because FlyQuest has a habit of taking kind of bad fights because they trust their mechanics so much. But I think that's the correct way to play it, is make the other team think you're going to contest so that the 5 people are there as long as possible, since they're down ultimates anyway. And look what they got, right? They got Victor ultimate, they got Seraphine ultimate, they got the TP out of Thanatos, and now they can repeat this play on bot lane.
Cataclysm on the Sven, no flash on the Senna! And another kill. That's 3 deaths for Sven. 12 minutes into the game, FlyQuest have been hyper-focused on shutting down this bot lane.
They are in full attack mode.
Yep.
Still no static shiv early on for this Senna, and we said when Senna Seraphine get their items, they're good. FlyQuest is making sure they don't get the items.
Also all alone in the mid lane though. Thanatos is walking up. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow will land a stun, but I imagine we all know where that's going. Shutdown for APA, flash from Thanatos. Summoner spell has to be used to get out of there, but FlyQuest lose their carry in response.
Yep.
That's a shutdown too for APA.
That's a really nice play there by C9 to get the gold onto the Victor. They're going to need him to do damage in these team fights because the Senna Seraphine can give a lot of healing and shielding. Somebody has to do the damage. Also looks like Blabber's going the standard Xin build. They have enough healing, they think, with Senna Seraphine. I know, boo. The Dusk and Dawn Titanic Hydra is just cool because it's new to talk about.
Yeah, it's fun.
But a slightly faster power spike with the Sundered Sky here for his MasterCard power spike item completion.
All right, let's see what he's able to get done with that. The trade-off is that this is stronger on its own. Just has the 1 item spike, so it truly is a power spike as opposed to the Titanic plus Dusk and Dawn. You kind of need
Gotta
that
wait a little
item.
bit.
Yeah, invest, boo.
Be way cooler
Have a
later.
savings account. Ugh.
Lame. Either way, 1 Drake to 1. FlyQuest is in a decent position. I still think once Static Shiv comes through for the Senna, Zen will be okay, but my goodness, 30 souls at 13 minutes is very low.
That is incredibly low. And I know, again, like if you're CSing, they're not going to be dropping nearly as much, but that's tough.
Feels very low.
All right, well, let's see what the next play is right now. I also just want to plant the seed for this. I don't think it's going to happen, but we are on track for Gakkos to get the triple donut. So just keep your eyes on that. Griffin going for the Cataclysm now onto Blabber. Flying and drags towards AP, but a nice sidestep from the Victor. Griffin's got to flash back to safety, and C9 absorb the play, throw down the Arcane Storm, push FlyQuest back.
You stunned me with the triple donut. I know exactly what you're referring to, as Gakkos is dangerously low. Thanatos might think about doing something.
I mean, he's got the Dominance popped. Gakkos low on health, throws out the Decimating Smash, and that will buy enough time.
So So the Triple Donut, it's esports garage video.
Yes.
They analyzed all the games where someone was 0-0-0.
On a win.
In a win.
In a win.
Yeah. But like,
It happened in LPL like recently.
you
Like,
can't just say at 13 minutes you're on track for the Triple Donut. Like,
Well, when can you say it then?
it's got to be way later in the game.
Yeah?
Like, it's very common to be
planted the seed,
0-0-0.
Chad.
You put a pin in it, but you could do that literally every game.
Yeah.
Like, we're only 14 minutes in. You're way too early on the seed.
Hey, some seeds don't plant or don't grow. You
It's
know?
like January 1st, and you're out there in the garden moving the snow away and putting the seed in there.
Getting ready for pumpkin season in October. You gotta get, again, it's a savings account, Chad. We just had this whole analogy there, too.
Yeah. I know it's just never going to happen.
On a Scion, too, that'd be very rare.
It would.
Yeah. All right, well, shout out Esports Garage.
If it happens now, I'm going to have so much egg on my face, but
That's why you plant the seed, Chad, just to see.
just to see if it's going to die.
Because then
in
you
the
look
cold.
really smart if it happens. If not, you're like, well, that
You're
didn't
going to
grow
just start doing this every game, though. It's be like 12 minutes in. Oh, just saying.
You could do it at minute 1.
Ash is on pace for a triple donut. Lane's been pretty slow.
In 99% of games, nothing happens in the first 2 minutes. We could just say a bunch of hypotheticals.
So how much earlier are you going to go with this? I think I'm trying to get ahead of the problem.
All right, well, Gakko's locked in Scion on track for a triple donut in draft.
He is.
Yet to pick up a KP. The Herald started by FlyQuest as they have control over the mid lane. Beat drop lands, root onto Cryogen, but no follow-up right there, so it looks like FlyQuest will be able to get this one, but as I say it, C9 are approaching. Blabber's over the wall, APA in a 1-1 against Quad as Blabber jumps onto Griffin to block him from entry. Now turn on to Masu, he's out of there! APA with a double kill, and looking for the triple! Flashes to find it, C9 contests the Herald.
Beautiful angle there by C9, and that's exactly how you draw it up if you're playing Xin Seraphine. You just shoot straight through the Xin. He's a vessel for the ultimate. Everybody gets locked up, and not only do they get the fight, they get the Herald. They're breaking mid. Sven has his driver's license, unlike Blabber, and they're trying to get the Drake off of this.
Didn't have to do him like that, but the Drake is the cherry on top here. C9 just got a massive gold inflection, plus multiple objectives with 2 turrets going down, and now this Drake. And APA getting that triple kill. He's now 2,000 gold ahead of Quad individually. And that's basically C9's lead overall right now. Huge sequence from C9. They might even look for more here. Gakko's going to be in a 1v1 against Thanatos. Now he should be fine.
Yeah, he'll be completely fine. He's going to have good pressure in this lane. Now, okay, watching this one more time. It's really about catching Masu down in the river here.
No
Everyone
flash.
gets distracted by APA, but then Vulcan redirecting his R, and then Blabber connecting it after it hits Masu. I gave too much credit to Blabber initially. That was kind of all Vulcan.
Yeah.
With the Seraphine Flash R.
Good shit, good shit.
Nice, guys.
Jake, we just crossed him.
Forward that too.
Love hearing that too. It's not just
Yeah.
the moment itself, it's what happens after the moment. But, okay, Blabber did hit the Crescent Guard to knock Masu back
True.
and deny him from being able to walk further up.
Okay.
Yeah,
Teamwork.
yeah.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Give it to him. I'll give it on a technicality. Gakko's still on track for the triple donut, just catching up on that one.
Man, the gold is slingshotted. FlyQuest was 2,000 gold up
Yeah.
4 minutes ago. Now they're 2,000 gold down.
Yeah, I wonder what the gold graph actually looks like.
Bad
If it was
trajectory.
all from that play, because it kind of felt like it was just that moment. Every other moment where we were scrapping, it was like a 1-for-1, or like nobody really died, other than FlyQuest finding these dives under the bottom lane, as now Cryogen in his own jungle. Blabber will catch him out there and get the wild growth. Cryogen's back to safety.
Yeah, and Blabber right now on the Black Cleaver power spike. Extremely powerful. Static ship completed for the Senna, so even though Sven had a really rough time in lane against the Jarvan, Ashe, and Lulu, he was basically getting 3-man build the whole time, I think he's going to be okay.
FlyQuest looks to contest the red buff.
Low.
The arrow will land here on the Blabber, and the pincers close in on C9's jungler. Shut down for Griffin as the teleport comes in from Thanatos. He's committed to play, flash over the wall onto Masu. Looking for the solo kill. He's slowed down, knocked up. FlyQuest back up their carry and will shut down C9's top laner. Gold goes over to Quad, but they want more. Flash in from Griffin. The triple knockup. FlyQuest smash the team fight. Giving a triple kill. Just the double, but a shutdown over to Griffin. What a play. What an ace.
That's a 5-for-0 ace at 19 minutes. from a 3,000 gold deficit. That's insane.
What are we fighting for? There's no dragon. There's no Baron up right now. These teams are just scrapping a scrap right now. I love to see it. And FlyQuest love the gold injection.
They just flipped the whole game on a red buff.
Look, Ash ulti. Look, combo.
It's gonna be quiet.
Yeah.
It's gonna be quiet. This is change.
Yeah, see, we can one shot.
TP. Look out TP.
I will mark Victor. Yeah, Victor can't play. He's over the all.
Can you help me here?
Yeah, help. Kill him, no flash.
Kill him.
Can't play, yeah?
No E4 too.
I can go more. Yeah, watch.
We don't need to.
I'm hog shotting.
Don't need to be.
Yeah,
I mean, Victor, no flash.
Watch.
Okay.
Help him. Victor, no flash.
I poly.
Nice go.
Push every lane.
Dude, I love the re-engage from Griffin there.
That was incredible.
Saying
and
I can go for more.
Too.
Then there's like, we don't have to.
Yeah.
No.
Follow up.
He lands it on 3 and then lands a 3-man EQ afterwards. That's an insane Jarvan play at the end.
Very high value right there. And now Griffin, the biggest gold lead on his team individually.
Sheesh.
Stepping up huge. Ja, we came into this series and we had that whole, little graphics package prepared of what happened last time. But this time around, it's FlyQuest making another play in the mid lane. And Sven's out of there. Quad on a killing spree. Sven cannot play League of Legends today.
That's brutal, man.
He's not allowed.
The clean, essentially a one-shot right there. Burns' cleanse dies anyway, and they might be thinking about Baron. They want to play fast.
I mean, why not? There's no AD carry on the other side. You can at least try and get, ultimates used from the side of C9. As I say that, there's no Arcane Storm either, so one of the biggest damage-dealing teamfight ultimates in C9's arsenal is not available.
We know they're willing to flip it, too. They can do anything at any moment. They're going for Nectin.
Instead, they're going up for the top side, Thanatos. The focus for FlyQuest. C9 were sticking around the Baron just to see if they would start it, and they lose their top laner.
Big gold injection. Drake up in 24 seconds. Renekton won't be there. That's why FlyQuest is resetting. It's a Hex Tech map, so they can fly out there and likely even up these Drakes. Jackos wants out.
He's going for the TP. Woo. Nice. Gets it before the last embrace. Root follows up. The first hit does not CC you.
Also, Kangas not even close to the triple donut. He has 6 assists. It's 21 minutes in.
Ah.
You were way too early. But C9 actually just starting Baron to draw FlyQuest up from the Drake. Spotted out there.
Yeah, they have the hawk shot. Ashe is able to just kind of cheat that vision and see it. Blabber sticking around. Quad's going to walk up to check again. It would take a long time for Blabber to take that alone. So yeah, okay, FlyQuest pushed them off, and we see Griffin is still on the Drake, looking for the second one for FlyQuest. His quad now goes across the Veil, does not hit the damage onto Blabber, who is able to secure the Crabber.
Really nicely done here by FlyQuest. I'm loving their growth as a team. They had a slight deficit here, came back.
Arrow lands on the Blabber. He takes the audacious charge forward as they channel the ultimates on a Masu. Encore lands, but the polymorph on Blabber. Can he get the kill? He does. C9 take down FlyQuest AD carry. Who to do it but Blabber? As that's a trade up for C9, losing their jungler, but they'll take 2 for the trade.
A little bit of a caster curse right there as Masu dies to the Xin Seraphine. It reaches, trying to get more damage down onto mid lane now.
Don't quite have enough to kill Gakkos, but they have so much CC. He will use the unstoppable ultimate and get out of there, but okay, C9, they're not done with this game yet, Jet.
Their team comp is still really strong, Kangas, even though they've killed Sven 5 times. It might not be enough, so let's watch this again. FlyQuest stays aggressive, right? But it's a fast re-engage by Blabber, because technically this is a 4v5, but Seraphine plus Xin is just enough to finish off Masu, and then since everyone on FlyQuest was trying to peel Blabber, that means Griffin's also stuck in a 1v3, so such a massive team fight win for C9 there from a numbers disadvantage.
Yeah, what happened to Gakkos under that bot turret is what happened to Griffin there as well. When you're jumping in onto the Senna, Seraphine, Victor, they have enough CC tools to kite you back and make it so that if you ever flag and drag forward, you're kind of stuck in that spot from that point on. Back to live though. Game's not over. FlyQuest have lost their gold lead. It's within 1,000 now as Cryogen's getting chunked down, has to use the heal. When it comes lightning from Blabber, Audacious Charge is available as Cryogen has to flash from the Arcane Storm.
Yeah.
APA uses the ultimate, Cryogen uses the summoner spells.
Saved his wild growth, but had to burn heal flash. Nice play there by
Whoa!
C9.
Gecko's actually going
Re-engage.
forward. Doesn't have the team behind him quite yet. It's only Griffin has to flash back as 4 members of C9 are there, and they will happily take the kill onto Sion. As now Blabber goes for even more. Encore's dodged by multiple members. Thanatos flashes the wall, trying to get onto Masu, but Cryogen has regrouped with the wild growth. C9 will only get the kill onto the top laner. Nobody else.
And C9 can stay on the map as long as they want with the sustain that they have. Sure, Ashe has healing reduction, but that's only when you're in fights, so they've turned straight on this Baron. It's going to be very difficult for FlyQuest to stop this if they want to. They know what's happening with Hawkshot.
No flash on Masu, no ultimate on Cryogen. It's really hard for Ashe to play this fight out. It's going to come down to Quad and Griffin to be the main characters here. 5 members of C9 in the Baron pit. They're staying up. Quad jumps in with the ultimate. APA goes into stasis to try and keep his health bar up as the ultimate from Griffin. Flygon drags back out. APA's fine, and C9 will get the Baron. Well played. FlyQuest cannot deny the objective.
When you have the Senna Seraphine comp and you have any numbers advantage, just start hitting objectives because the objective no longer gets you low. So FlyQuest does end up getting the mid turret off that, but that contest is just not going to work almost ever. So we're right back into that even game state. This has been an awesome back and forth game.
I gotta ask, can we take a look at the gold graph? It's gonna be like a roller coaster, up and down, because FlyQuest had the early game. C9 wrestle it back, FlyQuest wrestle it back, and here it is, like peaks and valleys for both sides.
Peak almost 3,000 for FlyQuest, peak almost 2,500 for C9, current 400 gold. Just the best. Although I think the scaling is opposite of what it was last series, I do feel like this Senna Seraphine is hitting this point now in the mid game where they're really difficult to deal with.
Yeah, they have reached what you can kind of call critical mass. Not even yet, like 3 items, 4 items, it just keeps getting worse. But they're at that point now where as long as they're not the ones hit first, you're never really going to kill anybody in front of them. The Xin Zhao, the Renekton, they are not going to land on anybody there. C9 will get another turret, and their composition really hard for FlyQuest to shut down at this point.
I think if Masu gets to IE, maybe he'll start having enough damage, but just the threat that the Renekton Xin and even the Victor has on Masu's Ashe might end up being just a little bit too much. And you also see a Serpent's Fang coming through from Sven even to cut down the shields that Masu's going to be able to get from Cryogen.
Okay, moment to catch our breath here. 40 seconds for this next Dragon. FlyQuest could give it up if they want to. It's not like it's Dragon Soul for C9.
Let's look at some other stats so far. So it's been a back and forth game. APA has been pumping damage on the Victor.
Gecko's number 2.
Gecko's number 2 on the Sion. That's just pretty surprising. Check out the gold as well. See how they've been doing. APA topping the charts, and Griffin with all those bounties he got from that red buff fight. Skip the Black Cleaver, by the way, for this Spear Visage. Bit of a different Jarvan build, as we might see.
The setup here as Blabber jumps in onto Gakkos, takes a big chunk. Gakkos throws out the ultimate to get to safety as Quad goes between worlds, big damage, but now he's locked down! Shut down as well. Thanatos gets the kill. Griffin has to flash away. Follower from C9 not in range to get the damage needed. But one already down on FlyQuest. You gotta imagine that is an earned Dragon to C9.
And APA's the real carry, actually, when they're going for these engages. If they're not getting on top of APA, they're not having a good fight. It's just gonna be harder and harder to get on him because the Zonies is completed and there's so many supports.
3-item Victor. Quite a hard thing to shut down at this point in time. It's gonna be Dragon plus the bottom turret, so C9 get a lot for that play. It's only 1 kill, but it feels like more because of what they're able to turn it into with that Baron buff as well. I mean, FlyQuest still haven't even cracked this top turret, so Gakkos gets some plates up there, but this was a big, big play for C9, now 2,000 in the lead.
It really was. They're looking to control the map from here. They've escaped the risky early laning phase, and I feel like they've put the game into a pretty good spot. It's a decent chance they're able to force a game 3 here after losing the first game to FlyQuest, but I'm really loving the rivalry we're seeing in today where we have the top 4 teams, and FlyQuest, they're making a good argument to be involved in this conversation. It's so much about the top 3, C9 Lion TL, what's happening, and then you got teams like Sentinels and FlyQuest that are really trying to enter into that conversation. FlyQuest putting up a fight.
I like how Raz put it, that just game one gave confidence that FlyQuest are a top 4 team. That's what you want to see out of a top 4 team.
Yeah.
And even this game, even though it's fallen out of FlyQuest's control and C9 look like they're in a dominant position, it still is showing, some really good League of Legends from the team that's in 4th place right now in the LCS and a young roster in FlyQuest. But C9, it's showing also how good they are. Sven shut down so heavily early game. Doesn't matter. He scales, he comes back.
Yes,
APA is holding it down, Thanatos is holding it down, and they get to this point where their composition still comes online despite how bad that early game went.
You do, and Gakkos, hate to bring it up, gotta say though, Gakkos on tanks.
Oh, not again.
1-4, Gakkos on carries, 8-1, maybe 1-5 on this Scion in 2026. And it's interesting because his laning phase was really good on tanks, but I always feel like, especially for younger players, just the team fight approach you have on a bruiser / carry versus a tank is fundamentally different. He's even had a few moments in this game on Scion where it's almost like he's in a position that would be good for a bruiser, but it's a bad position for a tank because on a bruiser you can just draw any attention you want. If you can kill the backline, you go for it. But on a tank, you need to be in a position where your own carries can hit. And I just feel like that team fight sense, he hasn't quite developed yet.
And he's often used his ultimate on top of Onslaught to kind of get away. Like the Victor Gravity Field, the Sentinel Last Embrace. These are things that aren't immediate CC, but they're buying space. And if he gets hit by that Sentinel W, if he's on top of that Victor Gravity Field, I've seen multiple times he presses R the other direction because he's like, okay, we're not ready for that fight. And then he doesn't have that for the fight as well. So yeah, we'll see if FlyQuest is able to get their Scion into a position to create space, because they need to create space. That's what Scion is built for. Space creator, space maker. Right now, quad and 1 going against Thanatos. Not too bad damage right there, but not enough.
Doing all these random flips and stuff, and just does nothing.
Just the bunny's hopping around doing all this crazy stuff.
Thanatos has Merc Treads,
Alligator just walks away.
I guess your champion doesn't work anymore. Because he's got no pen currently. Sure, he's got the Deathfire Touch, but I mean, even just the natural MR from Renekton to Merc Treads puts him at 83 MR, which is 45% reduced magic damage. So you're just not doing damage as quad. He builds healing reduction instead of magic pen, which makes sense, but they just don't have the damage.
There it is again. I mean, we've seen him multiple times. Gakkos gets hit by the Last Embrace and just presses R away from the fight.
It's tough because their team doesn't win front to back.
Yeah.
So if you're on a carry, maybe you'd be able to flank. If you're on a tank, you're hoping to be able to team fight, but unless you're like really in a good position and you can really distract the enemy, you're not going to look that good on a Scion in this game state.
Yeah. Tough to play out this one from this position. It's a minute until that dragon, and if C9 want, they can kind of force the front to back. I'm going to put the pressure on quad to find a big flank. Like if you're able to get around the Xin Zhao, the Renekton, and try and get onto the Victor, maybe that's a way in. But again, APA does have the Zonia, so as long as he's pressing his buttons, it's not going to be easy for FlyQuest. Quad will go in for that one. Almost finds the assassination onto Sven. Not quite enough damage, but that's a lot. He uses Blabber's actually going to go straight into the GA. Flash with Thanatos looking for Masu. Can't get onto him. The polymorph is there. The shutdown is there. Masu goes down. APA finds the kill. C9's mid laner steps up when they need him most. Can't get onto quad though, as FlyQuest still have multiple members up. Gakkos will be sacrificed. The team gets away. C9 get a 2-for-1 trade.
Whew, that was the chance for FlyQuest to come in for it. Masu had hit that Infinity Edge that we'd been talking about, and he was actually able to kill the Xin if the Xin gets close to him, but that was the GA fight for Blabber. The true carry, as we keep talking about APA, was there, and now this is 100% Hexol for C9. Which
maybe FlyQuest go for the Baron. I'm looking at the timers right now.
They can try.
C9, it had just spawned. We're going to look at the replay first.
Yeah, they want to have damage for it. So Quad does push Sven out of the fight, which means FlyQuest is very comfortable fighting. And Masu down on the bottom can get a lot of damage onto Blabber, so the fight looks pretty good. But then once they get flash from Masu, Masu wants to turn the fight around and kind of just walks into the Victor, who annihilates him. And then with no Ashe, all the sustained damage from FlyQuest is gone. And that's Hextol for C9. FlyQuest just didn't have the damage to do Baron with Masu being dead.
Back to live. It looks like that is just pure advantage for C9. And look at that. APA holding it down for C9. More damage dealt by FlyQuest, but that's because they hit the beefy members. They hit Thanatos. They hit Blabber. C9 were able to kill Masu.
Time
that
to go
is
for
a
picks.
bigger one.
They
Now
know,
it's
FlyQuest
Thanatos.
knows they lose every single 5v5, so they're trying to get...
Flag and drag used, the arrow lands, Thanatos stunned up for quite a long time, and this will be a successful pick for FlyQuest.
Yeah, nice look. They know there's a small chance of winning the game. They're going to lose a lot mid here. See if they can engage on a 4v5. They have Scion ultimate if they'd like to try, but it's just very difficult.
And not a lot of follow-up. They are going to go for the unstoppable Launchlock. Gakkos charging in, C9 juke down towards the Raptors, but there's Quad finding the flank between worlds, but he's stunned up, he's taken down! As Blabber finds that kill, Crescent Guard during the polymorph to try and flash in onto Masu, but the wild growth is there. Blabber not even close to enough damage to kill Masu. As APA's in the stasis again, will go on a killing spree before he falls, but FlyQuest have found some ground in this game. Sven will fall as well. Last Embrace is not enough to save him. It's only Vulcan getting away. FlyQuest holding on.
They're going to keep it interesting. They're going to get Baron off of this as well. Masu Griffin alive, and this is with Thanatos down. They know C9 is weak. The Scion pushes him down to the flanking quad, and that's what traps C9 in this fight. Then when Seraphine ultimate is down, that means Masu is safe to hit because Blabber can't jump on him with the guaranteed Seraphine stun. GA was burned in the last fight, and then crucially, they can actually get on to APA. Really liked, since we were criticizing him before, the tank play from Gakkos in this fight because he was constantly in a spot where Masu could hit while he was taking damage.
And I gotta, if we get a chance to chat with Blabber to think like, what was the reason for going back in there? Maybe thought that APA was closer? Like if Victor has one laser, Masu probably dies. So like there's a line where you can kill him, but unfortunately it just looks kind of silly because you could have just kited back. FlyQuest now wearing purple. Get the gold lead back to their side.
Yeah.
The roller coaster continues.
They're against the Hexol, but they've killed Thanatos again. Thanatos is still dead. So they found yet another pick on a Thanatos. It could just be a comedy of chained picks. Now with Baron and a 5v4, FlyQuest wants to actually win on this push.
They have 5 members. C9 have 4 defending, 2 cannon minions. Baron empowered. Is this going to be enough for FlyQuest to close out the series? They just flash onto APA. Cataclysm used, but he's still healthy. He's still alive. And FlyQuest push a little too far forward that time. C9 keep their mid laner topped off, and now Masu in trouble. Tries to get away, will get out of there, but now APA continues the chase. This is huge for C9. They're TPing bot lane as well. C9 see the angle to end the game. The slow on Masu. He can't get out of there. C9 hold the line. FlyQuest stumble at the finish line.
They might end. Renekton's already on bot. APA can TP onto the Renekton, and it's just quad.
It's 30-second death timer on Griffin and Gakkos, 20 on Cryogen. I think this is the game end. It's going to be 2 members with TP, 3 members pushing mid. They can link up these waves. Can C9 get it done?
Just like we all expected, C9 is going to force a game 3. We'll see quad. There's no Baron. There's no Baron here for C9, so maybe quad can get the wave.
He goes between worlds trying to clear out the wave. He's able to get most of it, but he falls in the process. The ace for C9. The game for C9. The series continues 1-1 on the scoreboard.
I mean, a really entertaining end to the game. It might have looked int that FlyQuest went in for that fight at the end, but they were against a Hexol. It's really difficult to ever get another 4v5. FlyQuest made it a fight, but Cloud9's pushing us to 3. Lounge, how are we going to pick a player of the game here?
Ezreal Karma, no more Ashe Seraphine. Even though we didn't technically see the Ashe Seraphine. Yeah, no more Senna. Yeah. We're going to have some honest League of Legends from this point forward, okay?
Well, we'll see if Griffin's willing to be honest, because Griffin's had some dishonest picks. The jump shed into buy, it's actually just a good pick.
Yeah.
I think a lot more people should do it. It seems like an amazing answer to buy. Will he pull out the jungle Nasus?
Okay, well, here's a dishonest pick off of there, the Nocturne. Turns the lights off. That's not very honest.
True. Very unfair.
Yeah. Orianna as well off the table, so that combo's doubly banned.
No Pantheon ban yet. So
true. That could rise up as on the dishonest tier list. Pantheon Ultimate is also fairly dishonest. Although it does kind of tell you when it's coming, which is a little more honest than Nocturne. We gotta make a tier list of that now. The most dishonest champs. Shaco's #1, 100%.
That is true.
Yeah.
Although the most honest champs are often the worst. Because it feels dishonest.
Garen, pretty honest. Pretty honest.
No, I don't think so. He silences you and one-shots you before you can do anything.
True. He does like half health you with his ultimate. That's not very honest.
Agreed.
All
Pantheon
right.
open.
We'll come back to that one.
FlyQuest, I mean, C9 is daring them to first pick the Pantheon.
Pretty much. I mean, Talia's is not going to be paired with it, but that's banned from FlyQuest side, and obviously it's still just a good pick on its own as well. But no, FlyQuest instead locking the Bard.
There might be debate. I think Bard's pretty honest. I think you can see all of his skill shots.
True.
It's a highly skilled champion. It doesn't feel super cheap.
Your magical journey can lead to some dishonest, like, flanks.
Yeah, but it's all like, it's the correct amount of telegraph.
It's also
skill.
It's also evened out by sometimes you accidentally ult your own team. If you've been on my team in solo queue, you've experienced this.
Yes.
And that equals out the dishonesty of the portal. So you know what? I like that. Corki, honest champ, Nami as well. Bot lane locked in for C9, and it looks like it's going to be answered by FlyQuest.
Of course, Masu wants to play Jhin again. He always does this. He loves it.
Yeah?
He loves Jhin.
It calls to him.
He's the Jhin
It's like
guy.
the Green Goblin mask in the corner. Jhin wears a mask. It's just the Jhin mask in the corner.
Well, I guess it feels like he's picked Jhin more than he has. This is only his third Jhin of the Spring Split.
It's just, you really feel each of those Jhin picks in the past.
I know, dude. He's the Jhin guy.
Okay, hear me out though. There's no Scion, there's no Cassante, like the big tank. I guess Ornn, maybe C9 go for an Ornn, unless FlyQuest lock it in. No, they go for the Anivia, which Ornn would probably not have a great time against in top lane if FlyQuest wanted to send it to Gakkos, who has played it already. So let's see if C9 find a tank that they want to play, because anytime I see Jhin early in the draft, I immediately start having alarm bells go off saying, hard to take down tanks, so can C9 find ways to fit those in the comp?
He's 3 of the 8 Jhin games. So it makes sense that he's the Jhin guy. And Anivia, blind picked here, can be top mid flex. I also really have appreciated Blabber's tank play.
There's a tank.
In defining series. So this gives them a lot of solo lane flexibility as well, since Sejuani is just incredibly at ganking for melees. And I just feel like Blabber's had great performances on the Sejuani late in series.
We'll see if they're able to get more melee champions in top and mid to pair with the Sejuani, help stack up that passive stun. I'm expecting, though, Anivia to be held as a counter pick for a very long time. FlyQuest using that to their advantage. Technically, also could be support, but I don't imagine anyone's playing Bard top lane these days. But again, it's about planting the seed, Jack, because then you look really cool.
True.
If it does happen later. As Mbessa's banned out from C9's side, not believing that is for sure an Anivia, although I guess this also covers jungle ban for Mbessa for Griffin.
Yeah, true. Griffin has a lot of flexibility. I feel like they just don't care about Pantheon anymore. And I'm not missing it. We haven't played Pantheon. It's not banned. Just not picked. Blabber's played 4 Sejuani games now. It's his most played.
Ooh.
It's shocking, actually.
I feel like, is any other jungler in the LCS playing Sejuani right now? I can't really, like, and I have a notoriously bad memory. So I shouldn't say this with much confidence, but I don't think I've seen anyone else play it.
I'll get you. I'm sure someone's.
All right, well, either way, it's going to be Blabber's pick here. It's front line for the Corki and the Nami, and again, it's a tank that's hard. It makes it hard for Jhin to actually chew through a front line, and C9's kind of doubling down, saying we're not going to give you other tools to get through a front line. Vayne is taken off the table as well.
Yeah, top lane pick in these games, very important. Jose, Inspired, and Hambach are the others to play.
There we go.
But it's only 1 each. And then Blabber's played it 4.
Okay.
So he's more the Sejuani guy than Masu's even the Jhin guy.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Yeah. I like that. We're keeping track of everybody's champ pools. We're going to have next episode of Pocket Picks. Blabber, Sejuani. Clearly, everyone, when you think
the
Blabber.
Maokai and the Sejuani, those are the 2 picks that come to mind.
Yeah, Jason York taking off the table from FlyQuest. So a lot of top lane focus. It's Gnar for Thanatos. Makes a lot of sense to me.
Ooh, especially with all of the protection bans already. Vayne out of there, Jace out of there. It was banned by FlyQuest, but it stops the Jace blind, and you love to see a Thanatos Gnar game. It's his best, most comfortable champion.
And I don't know if Anivia does incredibly well into it. When I think about, like, why you play Anivia into top laners, it's usually the melees, and then you abuse the range matchup. But Gnar has the range. He can also hop over your wall, so it's a little harder. So I'm expecting that to be quad, and there's Mundo now locked in for FlyQuest. And now we get our answer, is what will Gakkos be playing? Is it still the Anivia into the range top laner, or do they pivot to something else?
Great question. You could see the gears turning for Griffin, whether he wanted to play the Pantheon or the Mundo. A little bit more scaling with the Mundo. And if they lock this way, it's just a long-range poke comp, and that's what this is. This is a long-range poke comp.
Yeah, a lot of range. Emphasis on that. Save the Mundo, who's going to just kind of be the space maker, trying to block the approach, but and Nivea well helping out with that to stop like Sejuani and Nar from getting on top of you. But outside of that, they don't have that many tools to slow Blabber down, looking for the engages. They do have damage, they do have range, and they have Bard engage. Yeah. I love me a Bard primary engage count.
Looking at tier 1. Oh, a Twisted Fate for APA as well. An old classic for him. Back in his rank 1 solo queue days, big map play coming through for TF.
Yeah, and I will say last game, Stats has done a great job of tracking this. APA's damage per minute was 29th in LCS history. Masu was 25th in game 1. We were highlighting that.
Yeah.
APA almost caught up. And Jat, how many games have happened in LCS history?
Off the top of my head, 3,853.
That's crazy. You just know that.
I do.
You weren't reading the prompter, right?
I was.
Oh.
That's how I knew
Well, you're
it.
honest champ, Jat. There we go.
I will say, I think we might have some DPM inflation in League of Legends. There is more gold than ever this season. The bounties are bigger than they've ever been.
Yeah.
I feel like we've had a lot of these. I can't believe that damage per minute. Like, I bet you if you check the top 50, a lot of them are from the last 2 years.
Okay, honestly.
But still, 29th of 3,853 is really high.
All right, new challenge for Leo, our stats guy. Go back and find the oldest in the top 25. So in the top 25, which one is the oldest stat? I'm gonna guess like 2018 is probably the oldest.
I'm going to say...
That's just off the top of my head.
I'm going to say 2016.
2016, a little earlier. All right, well, we'll see. FlyQuest versus C9, game 3, loaded onto the Rift. If FlyQuest win this game, they lock top 4. If C9 win this game, they continue the undefeated series streak going into next week versus Team Liquid, who have the chance to do the same. They play against LYON after this series today. There's a chance we get 2 undefeated teams going up against each other in the final weekend. That would be hype. But FlyQuest, of course, trying to put a stop to that. So I'm going to put you on the spot here, Jat, though. What do you think FlyQuest chances are with this composition? You've talked about the strength, its range, there's some damage in there. Do you like it? Do you think it is a good draft as already Vulcan? You know what? If the draft can do this, sure. That's going to set you up pretty good in the bot lane.
I don't.
Okay.
I don't love it. It's just really hard to play. And I feel like it requires a lot of patience, things that FlyQuest typically hasn't had. It's just have a massive amount of poke, but then I also, it's more that I like C9 just because I know that TF Gnar can apply so much pressure. Because if the Gnar starts doing well, the TF can really snowball it. And we have just the guy to answer this question. Raz is standing by with C9's I Will Dominate.
First questions, there's a lot of action in the level 1. What's your read on the level 1 so far?
I mean, it looks fine for us. We have Nami sustain in lane, so trading a little bit is okay. Looks like we're going to be able to not get dove 4 times this game, so yeah, I'm happy with this.
There was a scare that FlyQuest would take the 2-0 after the last one, but there was a bit of a clutch on being able to take that fight in your base. What's your read on just like what you guys need to be able to improve to take this one?
I mean, I think last game we have just been making mistakes. We're like pretty far ahead. We almost lost with Soul 2 games, so we're getting a lot of the Drakes. We're in good spots in the game, but we're overplaying, which is, I guess, common theme for us at this point. You know, we've thrown multiple games on stage now, so we're working on it. But what I'm happy with is that everyone's aware of the conditions in games, so we're making plans that make sense. We know what's happening. We're just misplaying a lot, like when we're in the situation itself. So obviously, we just need to be a little bit more cognizant of the angles they're going to take. FlyQuest is obviously a super aggressive team, right? Like, they just want to run at you and fight you all over the place. And a lot of times, we're just, like, thinking that they're giving, but they're not actually giving. And then the fight starts, and it ends up being, it should be good for us, but it ends up being bad because we're not prepared for, like, what's happening.
So what's the message of this game? You got the Twisted Fate. It looks like your mentality is to play sides. So what did you tell the team?
I mean, honestly, I don't even think we need to play sides in order to win this game. I think Corki Nami is extremely strong. Both games, we've been drafting things where we're like stronger than them on mid-waves. And I think that this is a game where I feel like the Corki Nami are going to be able to take over at some point. So I don't really think that it necessarily works like that. We can just end up hitting the front line. I think this Mundo will die at some point once we have items and we have damage. We have Gnar, we have Corki with Nami. Blabber is the goat of using Spellbook on Sejuani, which I believe he has. I mean, he normally has it every game. Yeah. So we'll have Ignite at some point for that guy as well. So yeah, I mean, I think it should be good.
All right, appreciate it. We're going to send straight to back to the casters, and you can watch the game.
Thank you very much, Raz, and I Will Dominate for giving that sideline report right there. Something I wanted to highlight was the fact that they were saying it's kind of a difference between the plan versus the execution.
Yeah.
They always have the plan. Sometimes it's execution that it comes down to.
I want to see. I feel like that guy's done broadcasting. Sven,
Yeah?
Or Dominate's done a lot of co-streaming. They need to set up a coach cam co-stream. I just want to hear everything. I want to. There's got to be a way to set this up. Where
I
they
feel
can
like
just
competitive
stream.
integrity is the issue there. You know?
I don't care. I just want to see it.
Yeah, good point.
It's just a regular season.
I
C9's
like
going to win
that.
anyway. Turn it off in playoffs.
We
Who
saw
cares?
Sven's stats there, all-time on Corki, looking pretty good. Speaking of stats, Jat, rock star stats guy Leo actually has an update for us on the question I asked of what's the oldest one. I said 2018, you said 2016.
I did.
For who's in the top 25 damage per minute, like how far back does that stat go?
Yeah. And it was actually 2016.
You were right.
Leo got the stat. Wild Turtle did 1,571 damage per minute on Sivir, which does really confirm the damage per minute inflation. that
But
is
it takes a Sivir, probably in a 50-minute game, I would imagine.
Yeah, likely. The reason I said 2016 is I remember World Finals that year had a 70-minute game where Core JJ did 100,000 damage on Zyra, and I'm like, if Zyra can do like 1,300 damage per minute, something was juiced in that season that is going to carry over. But that's random stat brain that doesn't matter.
Yeah, also here for production, it was a 40-minute game that Wild Turtle was able to pull that
Just
off. So
smurfed it then.
now, can APA do it on Twisted Fate? He did it. He got 29.
Hard no.
No,
But
okay.
Quad, to me, has the potential to have some high DPM this game.
Okay.
And Sven. Because if it gets late enough, to Dom's point, and if Sven is actually always stronger on mid-wave, he's going to have a lot of Mundo damage to do.
Right now, FlyQuest getting pushed out from the Dragon. Griffin had started this up, and Blabber will spot it, but the smite is true, and Griffin gets the Dragon and gets out. That's 2 games in a row now.
Wait a minute.
Just get on spawn, Dragon takes.
Wait, hold on. That was really impressive. That was 530, and it looked like he smote it from 1,000, so he already had his upgraded smite. There was so much happening with the stats in the interview.
Yeah.
But Griffin did something. I'm going to go check. You know, play-by-play for a sec. He must have done something really clever to get the upgraded smite that early.
We were distracted on our end, but for right now, it is Dragon picked up by FlyQuest and a wave in a good spot for Cryogen and Mastu. Blabber will get up to get that top scuttle crab as Sven actually jumps forward. Valkyrie's aggressively on the Mastu and Cryogen. Actually even had the Valkyrie to get back, so he's just walking up there.
Yeah,
So
love
good
it.
trades bot side, and then Blabber does get the top crab.
This is your moment, Kangas. I'm still watching Griffin's jungle pathing.
Okay, go for it. Reset from Masu in the bottom side here. Cryogen will try and get as much of the CS as possible, but this is now kind of more reminiscent of game number 1 as the bubble lands and Sven's got the damage. First blood for C9. I'm just saying reminiscent of game number 1. Lead for C9 in this bottom side. They are not getting dove this time.
That is huge. Sven's had a rough moment in this series so far. Ezreal failed the dive. Game 2 got dove over and over again. Finally gets the upper hand on Masu. Went back. This was a double crab for Griffin, so it was double full clear, double crab, which gave him the upgraded smite to do the early dragon. So he's definitely off to the races on Mundo, but that won't matter if Sven gets too fed.
Against Blabber, of all junglers as well,
I
getting
know.
both crabs. Very impressive.
Blabber must be seething secretly.
Yeah, he got the third crab. That's the one that matters, truly. Didn't get the Dragon contest, as now FlyQuest will look to contest at the Raptors. Blabber stunned up. Griffin's there with Cryogen in his back pocket. Has the CC immunity, that's a flash from Blabber. Gets to safety under the turret with the Arctic Assault, but that is a Summoner Spell down now for C9's jungler.
Oh, double crab, loses his red. I will say, though, if that's going to happen to Blabber, he's on the right champion to do it. One of his games this split where he fell most far behind was against Inspired's Jarvan. Still won the game,
That
though.
CP from Blabber coming down.
Spellbook.
He's got the Spellbook. Big damage from Sven, who Valkyries forward again. They have the Twisted Fate Destiny coming in, flash forward with the yellow card. Onto Cryogen. The Bard's in trouble as he walks forward. And now FlyQuest got baited into the fight. The bubble will land. CC chain onto Griffin. 2 kills to C9.
Beautifully done by C9 right there. The early TP punishes the invade. Then once the Bard portal is used, it's when APA can TP it on the TF. And now Masu can't get back to the wave. This is beautifully done by Blabber and Vulcan. to zone Masu off of his own turret temporarily. He's going to move now.
This tug and pull of the jungle matchup as Cryogen is actually going to walk straight into Blabber. We'll see that the blue buff has been taken. So Griffin's able to take the red buff away, but C9 answer it back. Even I Will Dominate was talking when Raz was having that sideline interview of like, yeah, I mean, Blabber takes the Unsealed Spellbook on Sejuani. He's going to get use out of that. And instantly we see it happen. Another crab contest.
Griffin wants it, pushing it towards his carries. That's good. Nice
Okay.
fight.
That's 3.
Many
keep
crabs.
track.
Many crabs.
3-1 in the crab count. As I think the pause
Hold
Blabber
on.
saying, wait a minute.
Something's wrong.
I
Yeah.
have only got 1 of 4 crabs.
This is Ben who did
This
the
has never
pause.
happened.
We'll see why he paused right now. Hopefully they can resolve it quickly. The last pause was done pretty quick, but the beginning of this game, very favorable for C9. Getting the Corki Nami ahead, it's going to make it difficult for the Jhin Bard to move.
No, I don't read lips, by the
Well,
way.
Are you going to try?
No, I was just pointing out that Sven was tapping his microphone mic. I'm assuming it's an audio issue. APA was also tapping his.
Okay.
So between the two of them, it looks like they're checking on what the audio is going to sound like. That's my prediction, at least.
That's pretty good.
Hopefully it's a fast fix.
If there is something to work on, we do not have a lip reader currently on staff.
Do you know that?
No. But if
You were
we
just saying
did, then
things
we
then.
should definitely give them a headset so they can tell us what's
Hey,
happening. in moments
production,
like
can we get our lip reader into the caster booth real quick? Give an update
this. Yeah,
for the
we need a John Boy for League
players?
of Legends.
Okay,
This
looks like
is
we don't
what
actually need that. Back to live. There's a quick pause.
You were right, though. You were a body language expert there.
Yes. As currently it's still a lead for C9, 3-0, 1.5K in their pocket with the gold on Sven and APA, 1,000 lead for Sven.
Yeah, and the head-to-head record last year was in the favor of C9, but that was favor of FlyQuest, but that was a much different FlyQuest roster, a total rebuild. This was a 1-5 record heading into today. That's now sitting at 2-6. And also a reminder that FlyQuest is dominating bot lane, but also if they win this game, they will clinch a top 4 spot, but they're going to have their work cut out for them.
Yeah, they're getting kind of crushed down here. Sven 2-0-1. The tidal wave stops the back, so ultimate used, but just to kind of be annoying, because now the grubs are started up here. Blabber, I believe, smited one of those away. Griffin's still sticking around. Nope, it looks like it was Griffin smiting the first, now Blabber. Either way, it's 1-1. No one's going to get all 3.
Yeah. One thing I want to point out, I keep seeing this happen as we actually haven't even looked top lane as Gekos and Thanatos are just playing League of Legends.
Kind of forgot there was a Nivea in this game.
Yeah, he's in every top.
I'm being
Cool.
honest.
We'll see kind of how it manifests in the gold right now. With Sven having 4,500 and then Masu being all the way down to 3.3K. FlyQuest bottom lane is getting absolutely slammed. I think this happens so often with Mundo jungle. So you can get tricked a little bit with Mundo, since I just feel like he's such a bad ganker early. If you don't have the stronger 2v2, the other team can just repeatedly dominate that lane.
Sure.
And that's what C9's done a good job of here. So even though Griffin is getting the CS advantage, yes, he double crabbed and got the early Drake, the TF and the Sejuani have just done a great job adding to the advantage that Sven and Vulcan are creating with their Corki Nami.
And now Sven with the Trinity Force completed. I mean, we see FlyQuest, they just send Masu mid lane already. He's down a level. Doesn't matter. Doesn't have the
Before
quest
roll
completed.
quest, they just need out.
Well before. Ooh, I mean, we see the strength of Sven right now. Cryogen's like half health just for walking up to the Corki. Having Quad down here, he can just farm waves, but Blabber could look for a dive. Dragon's up.
Yeah. They're just trying to find a way into this Drake fight. I imagine Griffin would want to fight it. He has Heartsteel on the Mundo.
Big spike for them as well. Blabber not having an item completed. Now throws in the ultimate. They chain CC onto Griffin again. Still knocked airborne. Flash from
Nice
Sven
flash.
on a killing spree. C9's 80 carry finds the angle to get the kill.
Flashes straight over the Bard ultimate. We might not even need to wait for the late game. Dom was saying at some point in this game, the Mundo will die. I wasn't expecting 11 minutes for the second one. They burned through his Mundo ultimate multiple times already. Sven is really off to the races on the Corki.
3-0-1. That is 100% kill participation so far, as he now is in the mid lane and has completed the role quest. He's not even in his lane. He's the only person on Summoner's Rift that has that completed right now.
Whew. So that's just going to add to his temporary power. Snowball, get a little bit of extra gold out of his minions, completing it early. Role quests often don't matter that much because they all kind of complete around the same time. But, I mean, Masu could be really far away from it, so we'll have to track how long he waits to end up getting his, because he's still running out mid lane, so it's going to be stacking up a lot slower.
I see Cryogen hovering topside right now, just reminding us that there is an Nibia.
Yep.
Gyakos exists.
Good reminder.
On track for the triple donut.
This does count as a carry pick. He's not, though, because he's losing as well. You need to be 0-0-0
true.
and win.
Thanatos.
And you can't say
Thanatos on track.
You can't say it before 20 minutes.
Is
Let's
that the
make
rule
a
now?
The games never end before 20 minutes nowadays, so you have to wait until at least then.
Okay. All right, you know what? I can get behind this one.
Yeah, okay. Guardrails.
Just like
then I'm
Dry
down
Wine.
for it, actually.
Yeah.
Maybe 25, but 20 for now.
Well, we'll come back to that later. Once we try it at 20, see how that felt.
Yeah.
Sven getting more plates in the mid lane right now. I mentioned before, it's reminiscent of game 1, where he was bot lane, gets multiple plates there, goes mid, gets multiple plates there. It's just gold injection on Sven, 2K in the lead on the Corki.
Yeah, absolutely. Game 1 was so long ago, it's easy to forget.
Yeah.
That the Ezreal Karma from C9 was kind of dominating that game. They were 2,000 gold ahead of the Lucian Helio. It was only in the late game team fights that Masu was able to do massive damage.
And this time Sven has not thrown under turret. As the Tempered Fate will land here. Can he follow up with the Cosmic Binding? Timed perfectly onto APA, but do they have the damage now? APA is trying to sidestep some of the abilities. Shut down for Quad. More gold in the FlyQuest pocket.
Mercury treads Rod of Ages. Slow to die, TF, but he dies nonetheless. See if C9 can get some plates here.
Trying to push the wave in. Damage onto Griffin. Man, these phosphorus bombs are just chunking him. Plus the Trinity Force autos. Root, though, onto Blabber will tank up one turret shot. And I think Sven did more damage to Griffin than that turret shot.
Yeah.
With just an auto and a Q.
I would agree. Blabber really caught up to the Mundos. Early double crab with all of the pressure they've been able to create. Now, since they have mid push, top push, Blabber can kind of go where he wants. It's going to be really difficult for Griffin to get back into this game because the mid lane pressure is just absolutely relentless from C9.
Yeah. I mean, with this pressure, he's able to get a crab, so all things are back to normal as Masu uses the cleanse instantly on the slow from the ultimate. I don't believe that actually connected either way. He's able to get away.
Yeah, just got the cleanse. That's all he was looking for to keep this mid control and to keep Masu scared on the mid wave. He's got the Glute Greaves once again. Still no mid lane roll quest, by the way. 14, almost 15 minutes into the game.
I feel like we could honestly get through an entire series calling it a different name every time.
I'm just going to call it the Glute Greaves.
Yeah? You're just committing to that
I
one?
like that name.
Okay, it's a good one.
I think it will be confusing when you hear it, but when you think about it, you'll always understand, so that's why I'm okay with it for now.
Oh, nice sidestep there from Sven, or rather Valkyrie away from the stun. It looks like FlyQuest are focused on this bottom side right now, pushing back Thanatos, getting damage onto this turret. This allows C9 some space to go for the Herald and also do a similar thing on the top side. Difference being that Anivia wave clear, very, very hard to get through. And on that note, I mean, between Hui and Anivia, they have a lot of wave clear on FlyQuest side. It can be tough for C9 to actually get in here. Destiny popped. It looks like it's not being channeled right now. I believe that was just for information.
Oh, no, that was so interesting. Quad was an auto away from finishing the bot turret and getting first turret of the game. He backed off because of the TF ult.
Ooh. Tempered Fate lands this time around again as Sven's just able to Valkyrie away. Griffin looking to chase down the walls there, and Sven's out of mana. Looks for a little damage on the Cryogen, but will fall. Griffin with the kill.
Nice gank there by the Bard Mundo. Won't slow down Sven that much. It's not like he loses a bunch of gold on death, but it will inject a bit of extra health into Griffin. Masu steal the problem.
On it. There he comes.
Masu really needing to come back into the game as well. I still want to call back to that TF ultimate bottom lane to keep that first turret alive. There's a little bit of a race for that first turret. The gold really sneaks back with that kill onto Sven.
But no turret taken from C9 side because they were trying to get that pressure on top side. It's punished by FlyQuest. And yeah, look at this health bar. How much health is on that turret? That's got, I'm going to guess 30.
It was literally one auto, and Quad was like, oh no, I must be getting TF. Let me back away.
Okay, C9 might get the mid turret, or the first turret mid, as they have the Herald charge, and this should be enough, and there we go. C9 win the race. The TF ultimate does push back Quad and buys enough time for C9 in the extended play to get that injection of gold. That would have been a way for FlyQuest to try and equalize, like you were highlighting. Now C9 are 2.5K ahead.
Still a big fan of Quad's way. He's 1-0. He's just gonna, like, it's not a pick that other people are excelling on, but he's just always had such a good performance on it. I imagine it's going to be hard for FlyQuest to contest this Drake, though, coming up now.
It's already spawned. C9 is in the neighborhood. Currently it's quad topside for FlyQuest, and he's got TP. Blabber stuck in the wall. He just cannot move. Stunned up, rooted up, throws out the ultimate. Now Sven trying to get the damage on the Gakkos. Valkyrie's away from the Tempered Fate. FlyQuest not able to land the engage that time. Cryogen had been pretty lethal with those on defense so far.
I mean, it looked cool, but I am just... How is FlyQuest going to do damage? It's going to take so long.
Yeah.
Everyone is just... They hit from 2,000 units away, but they use all their spells to kill, like, one dude.
And they don't even take him down. I mean, Blabber's still like half health after that. Gets the dragon, gets out of there. Maybe they go for Thanatos here. The wall goes out again from Gakkos, and Thanatos yet again kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. Flashes away from the Flash Frost. No wave anymore. Gakkos trying to sidestep now. Curtain Call plus Destiny. Gakkos has to go forward to try and find the kill. Flash Frost, I believe, landed. Flashing in, but Thanatos got all the healing from Vulcan. Masu's there to close it out, as Thanatos will finally fall. Now Griffin looking for more in the jungle. APA goes down. FlyQuest just found 2.
They're wizards. They're wizards, Kangas. How are they getting 2 kills here? That was the sloppiest, weirdest looking dive, and they get 2 kills off of it. Actually, they finished off Thanatos, and they run down APA in the jungle, who's trying to support the play.
Yeah, I mean, when they commit, they commit. FlyQuest like to fight, and they did it just there. I will note Sven got kind of cashed out in the mid lane. He got 3 plates on the tier 2 turret, but let's get another look at this.
Yeah, so Quad lands the Hwei ultimate, gets Thanatos very low, and then is just trying to get the minions in. Teleport comes in for Gakkos, but unable to really trap him with this wall because he wasn't able to land the stun. Thanatos just doing his best to buy as much time as possible. And right here, actually, just hopping out of the curtain call, which was poorly aimed by Masu. And then, like, this flash into the wall when the Vulcan heal keeps him alive, but it gives vision for Masu to do damage. And then the biggest thing is just down on the bottom side. AP had teleported in on TF earlier. They chase him down.
Oh, sorry. I accidentally flashed in his face.
Second time it happens today. And you
Second time it happens today.
Vulcan, my man.
Woo.
Chill. Second time it happens today.
Yeah, he did. I didn't see the flash. I saw him Destiny into the ground, but then I looked back towards the Anivia and the Jhin. So I didn't catch exactly there, but now back to live. Blabber's onto the blue buff with Vulcan behind him. C9 can't let it affect them. Sven still has a massive lead. The entire gold lane for C9 is just their AD carry. So as long as they play around the Corki, they should be fine.
They've almost killed the second interior turret. They're not messing around on mid-prio. Get mid-prio, get deep vision, play the whole game around Corki Nami. They, I mean, the power curve is just so off right now. Sven can bully Griffin back, so they're even trying to push him off Raptors, just take control of the whole map.
C9 play around their AD carry is the recipe for success for them. FlyQuest, they've been trying to kind of make it goofy instead, playing for the side lanes.
Yeah.
They still haven't taken that bot turret yet, but I imagine that's going to be on their radar here as there's no dragon for 2.5 minutes. Destiny popped again as Blabber will go for the Glacial Prison. Quad gets out of there with the Mikhails from Cryogen. Griffin finds space on the front line. A Temper Fade onto 2, but Blabber and Thanatos are pushing FlyQuest back. They cannot follow up on it.
Thanatos!
And C9 go back in. Thanatos pulls back Quad. Griffin and Toe stunned up. Sven with the damage should have enough. One auto not gonna get it. But FlyQuest actually turned it back on the Thanatos. It's a 1-for-1 so far. If they can kill Sven, this is huge for FlyQuest. He's slowed down. He's slowed again. Still out of there for now as Cryogen actually is the one to fall for FlyQuest, but Griffin got onto him. Sven's out of there. That's all the gold, all the damage on C9. FlyQuest continue the chase. APA trying to get some down here as the Anivia egg is going to buy more space for FlyQuest. And I think that should herald the end of the fight. Notice the one to Blabber.
But it's FlyQuest.
Yeah, they're still going. Now they back off.
You never know. Who would go for a fight here? If it's even a percentage chance that it works, FlyQuest is going for it. Wow. So in this fight, C9 use their global pressure with the TF and the Narcollapse to create a numbers advantage. And Nivea's in top lane resetting, so I like the look on TF here. Beautiful Mikhails from Cryogen to get Quad nearly out, but Meganar comes around from the side. It's a great look as they're able to get onto Quad and Griffin and just kill him. And then you think, like, okay, we lost our play, we're down most damage, maybe the fight is over. But FlyQuest says, well, we have a second control mage. We got a backup one in the top lane with the Anivia, so we can still play this. Gakkos just ends up getting so much damage in throughout this fight as Griffin is just landing cleaver after cleaver. And then the control ward from Griffin to pull off the late Mundo flank, catches Ven off guard, gets his second kill onto that Corki of the game, and keeps this game interesting.
Keeps it very interesting. APA actually topping the damage charts there, though. On the Twist of Fate, that's actually very surprising. But you see on the FlyQuest side, it was Gakkos.
Yeah.
Quad went down early, Gakkos stepped up. Masu was also relatively untouched there.
Sven for the game, though, still 24,000.
Hey,
he's doing it.
It's over 1,000 per minute.
Already. Maybe he's another top 25 performer.
Could be. If we get 3 in a row that are top 30, I think your inflation
really confirms
comment
inflation.
Is
we
pretty
got
spot
Zimbabwe
on.
DPM numbers here.
Takes the top tier. I wasn't ready for that one. FlyQuest will take the Dragon, stop the Stagger from C9. 2-2 on the Drake count as Sentinels looks for even more. The tier 2's already fallen in the mid lane. C9 have multiple waves shoved in, and they might just get this whole turret here.
They really will. My goodness. So C9 keeping the pressure on. Nice ghost.
Yeah,
if they dodges a lot of it.
He's good. So FlyQuest looks for a potential pick there. And with Quad making it in time, the turret will not go down, but that's 4 plates worth of gold picked up by C9, now 3,500 in the lead. It's no longer just Sven. Griffin on Mundo is the only one with the gold lead for FlyQuest. I would argue that's not where you necessarily want the money to go. That's the tank. You want it on things like Quay, things like Anivia, but in that front, C9 are holding the line on multiple members.
Yeah, it's still going to be a difficult game for Griffin and all of FlyQuest to play. Luckily, the Mountain Soul is still fairly delayed. So, like, there will become a point when the Jin Hui do a ton of damage. No egg on Cryo.
Gold card onto him. Chain the CC, flashes away. Griffin's in there. The wall's blocking the escape path. Now Blabber holding the line. Had the exhaust for Griffin. As now the tidal wave will land. Thanatos got to the back line. They got Quad again! Stunned into the walls. Sven with the kill this time around as Griffin's trying to get out from the Baron Pit. Cryogen Magical Journey away. Blabber trying to keep Mundo locked in place. APA there to help him out. Thanatos going long for Gakkos. Will miss the wallop. Looking now to turn out the Masu, who's stuck over the wall. Had flash, gonna save it for next fight. Double kill to Sven.
C9 looking to stay undefeated and go to 6-0 if they can close this one out. That's a big team fight win and will likely lead to a Baron as well. Gakkos gets stunned right at the start, going for a bit of a pick, and C9 says, wait a second, we're just stronger than you. Like, if Sven is not getting engaged onto, they're gonna win these long fights every single time. And then Thanatos had perfect Mega Gnar timing from his TP, just destroys the FlyQuest backline of Cryo Quad. And then it's just a long chase. Like, TF is much better in team fights than people will give him credit for when you're winning, because you just chase people down with gold card after gold card.
And I wanted to see at the end there if Masu had an angle to flash and try and get out of there. Either way, can have the summoner spell for the next fight, but that is Baron buff for C9. Already only a 700 Red Bull Baron power play, but it can turn into much more as they start to hit these turrets.
Yeah, and guess what? Whatever concerns you have about this series, doesn't matter. Maybe even 6-0 in the regular season if this happens.
I'll say, knowing C9 fans, I don't think that that's going to make them feel much better, though.
No,
especially with how close the series
held
is.
together with Flex Tape.
That with Flex Tape.
I don't think it's meant to be, comforting, but
I don't
it's
think
what
they're
it is.
supposed to be leaking. In that type of container right there. That's my guess. Is Destiny coming through to give information to C9? They know that Gakkos is relatively alone here, and that's going to be a Anivia egg with plenty of damage to take that one down. A pick in the side lane. Glacial Prison not going to land. Blabber getting chunked down here, but Sven just roasting through Cryogen and Matsu and everybody on FlyQuest. C9 get a double kill for their top laner. Sven, a monster of a Corki performance, and C9 look to continue the win streak. They have a 5 against 2 fight here at the Nexus Turrets.
This might be it. He's really close to that DPM number. I had to check there, 36,000 in 26 minutes. They're going to end all this push.
C9 keep it together, losing game 1, but bringing it back in the series. Thanatos dives on to Cryogen. A clean ace, a double to Sven. C9 undefeated going into the final week of the regular season.
They're scaling. Sven Vulcan absolutely dominate this game 3. 9-2-4 for Sven, 00-14 for Vulcan. And FlyQuest made him work for it. But you don't beat C9 in the regular season, Kangas.
You don't beat C9 in the regular season, maybe playoffs.